Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for according me this opportunity to welcome the Bungoma County Assembly delegation to the Senate. I want to take this moment to welcome our honorable members from Bungoma County Assembly to the Senate to learn one or two things, and I know you'll be able to carry some best practices from the Senate to go and infuse with what you have at Bungoma County Assembly, and please use them to implement what is required in your daily tasks. Otherwise, feel welcome, feel the Senate, and thank you for mentoring me to this level. God bless you, God bless Bungoma.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of my family and the great people of Belgamaragwe County, I want to take this opportunity to sincerely send our condolences to the family of my friend David Kiaraho and his wife Jackie, the children, and his siblings led by Dr. Kiaraho, whom I've known for the last since 2008 as close friends. We also came together to Parliament, Honorable Speaker, in 2013, and we worked very closely, especially in terms of empowerment of women. We went around the country doing fundraisers, and I remember visiting him in his Olkalau home. It's unfortunate that he has passed on. We know he's been ailing for a while, but as human beings, we pray that the Almighty Lord God comfort the family, give them peace, strength, and eventually accept that it's God's will that David has rested.
The MCA for Maraka Ward, who is in the house today, is the chairperson of ODM in Bungoma, and he has played a very critical role in my journey of leadership. When I started campaigns in 2013 for the Kandui seat, it was in his hands that I landed, and I'm hoping that he's proud here today for what we have been able to do and achieve all these years, and all the MCAs from Bungoma. These are my friends and my relatives, Honorable Speaker. I welcome them to Nairobi. I just want to take this opportunity to also extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of the Honorable David Kiaraho. Honorable Speaker, many people might not know that many of these members of Parliament, because they live in Nairobi, whenever there are issues, we always consult. The MP for Olkalau looked for me at some point, Honorable Speaker, because he was very concerned that the tribunal in Nairobi, which is supposed to receive complaints for building development, had actually been incapacitated, and just for basic things like failure to be paid allowances. And he came and saw me, Honorable Speaker, and brought the issue to my attention, that there's a big concern about how we are approving developments in Nairobi. And during the recent floods, you have had those conversations about irregular approvals and other approvals that just don't make sense, including blocking our waterways. So I want to take this opportunity on my behalf and the people of Nairobi to say Paul Esana to his family, and we hope that God will rest his soul in eternal peace. Speaker, when you were reading out the names, I was a bit amused, not amused, that I didn't hear the name of the area senator in the committee. I thought that it would follow that the senator for Nyandarua would be one of the people on the committee. I don't know if there is any logical explanation why, for instance, that name is missing on that list. So I want to make a request. Let us not overcomplicate things. If it is possible, let us expand that committee to include the area senator, with all due respect, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Kinyo.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwa niaba yangu mwenyewe, familia yangu na watu kutoka Laikipia, tunataka kupeana risala za rambirambi kwa familia za mwenda zake Mheshimiwa David Njuguna Kiaraho. Bwana Spika, Mheshimiwa Kiaraho nimemjua kwa sababu yeye katika gatuzi yangu tunapakana, na nimekuwa nikitembelea gatuzi yake, nikitembelea mahali anakowakilisha, kwa sababu amekuwa mtu ambaye ni mkarimu sana, kwa sababu kwa mambo ya harambee nikitembelea pale kwa sababu ya kanisa, nakumbuka amekuwa akishiriki sana. Kwa hivyo ninamkumbuka kwa uchungu kwa kumpoteza rafiki, na si rafiki peke yake, Bwana Spika. Ni namjua kwa vile ambavyo alijitolea sana kwa mambo ya elimu. Amekuja katika gatuzi la Laikipia mara 2 katika mambo ya kuchangia shule pale Laikipia. Kwa hivyo ni mtu ambaye ninamjua, nilimpenda na mwenzi, lakini kwa sababu haya yote ni majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu, sisi tutasema ya kwamba tuambie familia ya kwamba wajipe nguvu na Mwenyezi Mungu aweze kuwapa subra wakati huu mgumu, na vile vile kwa watu wa Olkalau ambao waliofanyia kazi kwa kujitolea sana, na kwa sababu wamempoteza kiongozi wao ambaye walimwenzi, sisi tutawaambia pole sana, na Mwenyezi Mungu ailaze roho yake David Njuguna Kiaraho mahali pema panapolazwa wema. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Onyonka Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of procedure, Majority Leader?
Just to my colleague, Mr. Speaker, for interrupting, but there's something that we had a unique situation at SBC today, that we didn't have the whips of both sides of the House, and I can't see them. I see their deputies though. Mr. Speaker, we have very, very important business, which if we do not transact today, Mr. Speaker, they'll be considered actually fait accompli as they are. So I wanted to request, Mr. Speaker, that we communicate to the entire House, the senators listening and probably those following, to be aware that don't make other plans. We intend to work until very late today, and members should not leave, because I know the clerk's table, because CPIC finished preparing their reports quite late, they are doing the supplementary order paper, then we get into that business. So I wanted to request that you clarify and give communication to the House that nobody should leave, because we must debate the 2 motions and vote on them by this afternoon. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very well, Majority Leader. Now, Honorable Senators, today is the 31st of March 2026. It is the final day that we ought to consider and adopt the reports from CPAC. That means, therefore, that we have only this afternoon to debate, vote, and pass the 2 motions that the Majority Leader has pointed out. And therefore, I beseech you, I request you, I humbly request you, for those who are already in the chamber, please don't walk out of the chamber. For those who are still out of the chamber, may the whips and the deputies do their work, so that we have the requisite quorum to enable us to transact the heavy business that awaits us this afternoon. Senator Richard Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, even though it has derailed my thinking. But I'll start by saying that first, I also want to appreciate the existence of the team from Bungoma in this House, Mr. Speaker, as I'm going to talk about Engineer Kiaraho. At one time, I'm sure my friends up there used to see me in Bungoma because I used to be the deputy party leader of Ford Kenya. And there are some of the individuals who used to be with me, especially when I was campaigning, trying to get elected. Mr. Speaker, Engineer Kiaraho was with me at the University of Nairobi. He was in ADD, used to live in Hall 5, I think I used to live in Hall 6. Always quiet, unassuming, extremely brilliant. I think Olkalau has lost a gentleman, a good leader. But as we always say, Mr. Speaker, we are transitory, and somehow, sometimes we are never prepared to face it. I would want to say that I wish his family the best at this time, and hope that he will be given a befitting farewell that would make one of the early, very successful architects in our country, so that he can be buried with dignity and responsibility. And thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Metho.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I would want to invite you to exercise the authority of Standing Order 95-2 to allow me to read a very short condolence message to the Honorable David Kiaraho.
You may proceed. Being the host, Senator, I will allow. I'll give you that latitude.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. And also inform Senator Sifuna that I was just made aware of the list just now, but we are all ready to give the Honorable David Kiaraho a befitting send-off. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to pay tribute to a distinguished colleague and a friend, the late Honorable David Juguna Kiaraho, member of the National Assembly for Kiaraho constituency in Nyandarua County, who sadly passed on the 29th March 2026 while undergoing treatment. Honorable Kiaraho is from Munyeki village in Nyandarua County. And Mr. Speaker, sir, he has built a distinguished professional career as an architect and served as the principal architect at Agrid Systems. His enduring contributions to the architecture profession will be forever remembered. Mr. Speaker, sir, Honorable Kiaraho was an exemplary leader, a devoted servant of the people. His election to the National Assembly for 3 consecutive terms stands as a clear testament to the unwavering trust and confidence bestowed upon him by the people of Olkalau constituency. Throughout his tenure, he demonstrated steadfast commitment, diligence, and unrelenting passion for the welfare of his constituents. Affectionately known as Dadiwa Power, Honorable Kiaraho embraced a paternal role within his community, particularly in championing for the cause of education. He consistently supported pupils and students, ensuring that many had access to opportunities that would otherwise have been remained beyond their reach. His contribution to the advancement of education and infrastructure within his constituency remains both a significant and enduring role. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kiaraho possessed a rare ability to connect with the people he served. His engagements were marked with warmth, humility, and genuine concern for the needs of his constituents. His approachable nature, coupled with his vibrant personality, endeared him to many. He brought not only leadership but also humanity to public service. On a personal note, Honorable Speaker, I had the privilege of first interacting with Honorable Kiaraho during my time as a student leader at Ipondo University. He extended financial support towards my education and offered invaluable encouragement during my early leadership journey as a student leader at the university. His mentorship continued even after my election as the senator for Nyandarua, as he generously shared his wealth of legislative experience and guided through my formative days in Parliament. His influence in my life and career is both profound and lasting. Honorable Speaker, the passing on of Honorable Kiaraho is a great loss to the Parliament of Kenya, to the people of Olkalau, to Nyandarua County, and indeed to the nation at large. Kenya has lost a dedicated legislator, a visionary leader, and a man of unquestionable integrity. His legacy of service, compassion, commitment will continue to inspire us all. On my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Nyandarua, I extend my deepest condolences to his family, his friends, and the people of Olkalau constituency during this difficult period. May they find comfort in the remarkable legacy he left behind, and may his soul rest in peace. Maybe finally, Mr. Speaker, since it was not in your communication, just to inform the members of this House that the service for the Honorable David Kiaraho will be conducted on Tuesday at the Nyandarua University grounds, and thereafter he will be interred at his farm in Tigoni in Kiambu County. I want to welcome everybody and also ask the members of the committee that we are ready as the leadership of Nyandarua to support and come in, help them in ensuring that we give Honorable Kiaraho, a man of the people, a very, very befitting send-off. Safe to also say that we would also want to request that there will always be time for politics, and this is not one of those times. on behalf of the people of Kalau and on behalf of the people of Nyandarua, would want to ask that we refrain from making political utterances at this time. Allow the family to mourn, allow the people of Kalau to mourn. You shall have an opportunity to do politics at a later date. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osotsi.
Maybe before I comment on the death of my friend, Honorable Kiaraho, let me also acknowledge the team from Bungoma. There are people who are known to me, including the chairman of ODM Bungoma, who is there, who is my good friend. I also want to thank them because, Mr. Speaker, you know Bungoma in our region is actually the factory of progressive leaders in this country. Masinde Muliro, Michael Wamalo Kijana, and now Edwin Sifuna. They are all from Bungoma County. So I want to pass my sincere condolences to the family of Honorable Kiaraho, whom I served with in the National Assembly, the 12th Parliament. He was a very, very quiet legislator, very humble, very sober, very organized, and very committed to his duties. And I think the people of Olkalau have lost a great leader, whom everyone is going to miss, not just in Olkalau, but also in this parliament. Honorable Kiaraho was loved by his people of Olkalau. Mr. Speaker, you remember that in the last election, when the UDA wave was in Mount Kenya, I think only a few MPs in Nyandarua, Honorable Kiaraho being one of them, managed to squeeze through and come to parliament. That tells you how much his people loved him by re-electing him on a party that was not very popular in that county then. So this is one man that I respected a lot. He was also a very, very strong business man in this town, and also one of the top architects that we had in Parliament. So I just want to wish the family well, and may God rest his soul in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I join my colleagues in passing message of condolence on behalf of the people of Kericho and my colleagues also in the House who probably will not get a chance to speak to this matter. On the passing of Mheshimiwa David Kiaraho, a fine gentleman, person that we have had opportunity to travel this political journey with, on the same political side and sometimes on different sides as well, as was the case in the 2022 election. Be that as it may, Mr. Speaker, he remained very amiable and friendly to most of his colleagues. Didn't speak much, but when you engaged him, Mr. Speaker, you probably understood better the meaning of still waters run deep, Mr. Speaker, because he was a fellow well-grounded professionally in his area of study, and like I think one of the colleagues observed, had one too many things to say about the building section in our country and the things that need to be done about it. Mr. Speaker, my condolences to his constituents, the people of Alkalau, Nyandarua, and people, his professional colleagues and friends that he had from across the world, because I've seen tributes pour in from many parts of the world, Mr. Speaker, to show that this was a very distinguished professional. Many people, Mr. Speaker, assume that politicians don't have a professional life, and it's until you get to moments such as this that you realize that for those that have had the opportunity to join politics a bit later, Mr. Speaker, they had a life actually before joining politics, and politics may be the shorter end of their professional life, and that has come out quite clear. I have seen in newspapers and articles and in online spaces of professional colleagues of his sharing the interactions with him and what they valued most about him. Mr. Speaker, this is a lesson to all of us that life is such a fickle venture that you do your best when you have the opportunity, because exiting the stage is a must at some point. Rest in peace, my dear friend Kiaraho, and condolence to the people of his constituency. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Beth Zengo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also join my colleagues on my own behalf and on behalf of all the women of this nation, more so women under broad-based. Pass my condolences to the family, friends, the people of Kalau, and the nation at large upon the demise of Honorable David Kiaraho. Mr. Speaker, the loss of Kiaraho is a great loss not only to the family, friends, but also the entire nation. I would encourage the family to remain strong, and Mr. Speaker, say that the cause of his death was indicated as cancer. And as a House, Mr. Speaker, I would request that we take serious legislation on how to treat and consider the approach to take against cancer. A few days ago, a Kamba moved and walked from my county of Kitui all the way to Nairobi to submit a petition on cancer. Cancer should be treated as a national disaster, and all of us are candidates of cancer. It is serious. We must take steps as leaders, and may Honorable David Kiaraho's soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Senator Sigei. Next, Order Clerk.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on the report on the session of paper number 1 of 2025 on the review of Kenya foreign policy document in 2024. Honorable Speaker, as you are aware, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, through a letter dated 4th June 2024, wrote to the Speaker of the Senate informing the Senate that the State Department for Foreign Affairs had constituted a committee to review the Kenya foreign policy document. The Committee on the Review of the Foreign Policy Document identified Parliament as a key stakeholder in the review process. The Ministry sought views from Parliament on what should be included in the review of the Kenya foreign policy.
Honorable Chairperson, Senator Fatuma,
Yes.
you are supposed to lay a paper.
Okay, I don't know.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 31st March 2026, a report of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on session of paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. The Chairperson, Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, or a member of that committee for that matter. We don't have a single member of agriculture.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 31st March 2026. Report of the Standing Committee of Agriculture on Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries, and the Livestock Protection and Sustainability Bill, Senate Bill number 32 of 2024.
Chairperson Sipak.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 31st of March 2026. Reports of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2025 for County Assemblies Volume 2, which includes Marsabit, Wajir, Meru, Siaya, Busia, Murang'a, Baringo, Kakamega, Makueni, Nyeri, Tana River, Nyamira, and Kericho, and for County Executives Volume 3, which includes Turkana, Tana River, Makueni, Tharaka Nithi, Nandi, Siaya, Murang'a, Nakuru, Marsabit, Samburu, Nairobi City County, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Wajir, Migori, Baringo, Kiambu, Lamu, Nyamira, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Kisii, Kajiado, Kericho, Kakamega, Kilifi, Garissa, Mombasa, and Taita Taveta. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Chairperson Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate adopts the report of the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on sessional paper number 1 of 2025 on the foreign policy of the Republic of Kenya, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2025. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Karungo Thangwa. Chairperson Sipak.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of motion for volumes 2 and 3 of the report of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of various county executives and assemblies for the year ended 30th June 2025. That the Senate adopts the report of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the year ended 30th June 2025, Volume 2, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st of March 2026 for the following county assemblies: Marsabit, Wajir, Meru, Siaya, Busia, Murang'a, Baringo, Kakamega, Makueni, Nyeri, Tana River, Nyamira, and Kericho, and Volume 3 laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st of March 2026 for the following county executives: Turkana, Tana River, Makueni, Tharaka Nithi, Nandi, Siaya, Murang'a, Nakuru, Marsabit, Samburu, Nairobi City County, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Wajir, Migori, Baringo, Kiambu, Lamu, Nyamira, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Kisii, Kajiado, Kericho, Kakamega, Kilifi, Garissa, Mombasa, and Taita Taveta. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order, Clerk. Next order, Clerk.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator for Tana River County, the Honorable Dr. Danson Mungatana. So that statement is dropped. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, volume 1 of the reports of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of various county executives for the year ended 30th June 2025.
The Chairperson is Standing Committee on Public Accounts Committee.
So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the motion in amalgamated form for volumes 1, 2, and 3 of the report of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of various county executives and county assemblies for the year ended 30th June 2025. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Senate adopts the reports of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the year ended 30th June 2025, Volume A, which was laid on the table of the Senate last Thursday, 26th of March 2026, for the following county executives: Vihiga, Kitui, Bungoma, Embu, Nyandarua, Mandera, Laikipia, Kwale, Meru, Bomet, West Pokot, Nyeri, Trans Nzoia, Elgeyo Marakwet, Narok, and Machakos. Volume 2, which was laid on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, the 31st of March 2026, for the following county assemblies: Marsabit, Wajir, Meru, Siaya, Busia, Murang'a, Baringo, Kakamega, Makueni, Nyeri, Tana River, Nyamira, and Kericho. And Mr. Speaker, Volume 3, laid on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, the 31st of March 2026, for the following county executives: Turkana, Tana River, Makueni, Tharakanithi, Nandi, Siaya, Murang'a, Nakuru, Marsabit, Samburu, Nairobi City County, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Wajir, Migori, Baringo, Kiambu, Lamu, Nyamira, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Kisii, Kajiado, Kericho, Kakamega, Kilifi, Garissa, Mombasa, and Taita Taveta. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I move this motion, I want to direct members of the Senate to the electronic devices we have, that all these reports can be found there. Volume 1, which was for 16 county executives, was laid on the table last week on Thursday. Volume 2 and Volume 3
have been laid today. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts Committee, I beg the indulgence of the House. Ideally, we should give members some time to go through these reports before we move the motion. Unfortunately, we have a constitutional deadline today, the 31st of March. Mr. Speaker, allow me to very quickly move this motion as members look at the specific reports from their counties and say that today I have good news and bad news. Mr. Speaker, because the bad news is more than the good news, let me start with the good news. The good news is that we have met the constitutional timeline. Mr. Speaker, historically, the work of the Public Accounts Committee has been characterized by backlog. In fact, when we talk to our colleagues and peers across the continent and even globally, every Public Accounts Committee complains of backlog. We thank this House, the membership, the leadership, and the Secretariat for navigating so that for the second year, we are able to bring our reports before the conclusion of the 90 days deadline. Mr. Speaker, in this financial year also, all the reporting entities transited successfully from cash accounting to accrual accounting. This is the first year of 3 years. It is a transition that will take 3 years, but I'm happy that all the county government financial statements are now being produced under the accrual accounting method. Mr. Speaker, good news. The Inspector General of Police has affirmed, has asserted that this House has the mandate, the authority, and the power to direct the Inspector General of Police to produce any person, be it a governor, be it an accountant, be it a procurement officer. The Inspector General of Police has affirmed that nobody is above the law. Whether you fly a flag, whether you have someone at home you call a first lady or a first gentleman, no one is above the law. And Mr. Speaker, even if we disagree with the IG of Police on some of his methods, on this, he has positioned the Senate to where the Constitution intended the Senate to be. And I want to tell those who are hiding behind groupings and groupies, Mr. Speaker, that at this rate we'll be serving one summon, one arrest warrant per week, so that by the end of this financial year, all those people who are supposed to appear before the Senate Public Accounts Committee should have appeared. Mr. Speaker, I also have good news that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission this time round has demonstrated impressive initiative. Mr. Speaker, when it emerged that 5 million was used in Vihiga for housewarming, within 2 weeks, the EACC had already summoned parties to do statements. When it emerged that 3.9 million had been used in Bungoma for lighting a Christmas tree, within 2 weeks, the EACC had swung into action. When it emerged that in Meru, 10 million was used for a border event instead of building the county aggregation and industrial park, within 2 weeks, the EACC had swung into action. Mr. Speaker, I have good news that our county assemblies are improving. In this financial year, 8 county assemblies had unqualified opinion. And Mr. Speaker, the clerks, the speakers of county assemblies, despite immense pressure from their governors, they came before the Senate Public Accounts Committee because they understand that oversight, accountability is individual, and you cannot hide behind any other grouping. Mr. Speaker, the clerk and speaker of Wajir appeared before our committee when the governor, who manages 90% of the revenue that goes to Wajir, chose not to appear before our committee. The clerk and speaker of Kericho County appeared before our committee when the governor, who had an adverse opinion, chose not to appear before our committee. Mr. Speaker, I have good news that the public is squarely and solidly with the Senate on the matter of oversight and on the matter of accountability. On to the bad news, Mr. Speaker. From Wajir to Migori, from Mandera to Turkana, every corner of this country, Mr. Speaker, we have bad manners, we have theft of public resources, we have violation of existing law, and we have bad habits, which this House was established to ensure that those bad habits do not grow root. Mr. Speaker, on the illegal position taken by the Council of Governors, I think that is not something that we need to debate, because anything that is inconsistent with the Constitution is null and void to the extent of that inconsistency. And so those are not things for us to discuss, whether someone wants to obey the Constitution or not. We all swore to Linda Katiba. We all swore to Linda Ugatuzi. Mr. Speaker, the reports that we have presented to the House today paint a picture of poor financial management, systemic failures, illegalities, irregularities, and non-conformances, particularly on financial resource management, human resource management, and other processes such as procurement. Allow me, Mr. Speaker, to highlight some of the critical cross-cutting issues that we have reported to the House. Mr. Speaker, pending bills still pose the greatest fiduciary risk to the affairs of county governments. In this transition from cash to accrual accounting, pending bills are no longer called pending bills, they are called trade payables. But arose by any other name is still arose. Mr. Speaker, Nairobi leads the pack. In the financial year under review, Nairobi had pending bills or trade payables worth 118 billion. That's almost $1 billion in terms of obligations that are owed to various parties. Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General tells us that in that year, 43 billion worth of trade payables was paid, but the auditor was not given supporting documents. Mr. Speaker, if you pay your debt, it should be very, very easy to show that I paid so-and-so for supply of meat, I paid so-and-so for supply of fuel. In the case of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, they were not able to provide supporting evidence for 43 billion, and that is in the audit report. And Mr. Speaker, that is the reason why we asked the Inspector General of Police to bring the governor of Nairobi before the committee of the Senate so that we can know how 43 billion could have been paid without supporting documentation. Mr. Speaker, in that financial year, 75 billion remained as outstanding trade payables. In addition to the 75 billion, Mr. Speaker, there was 11.9 billion classified as contingent liabilities. That is money that can be paid as a result of legal disputes settled against the county. 11.9 billion. And Mr. Speaker, the Auditor General tells us that in the list of trade payables, Nairobi excluded 8 billion, which was as a result of consent entered between LAP Fund and the county government of Nairobi. Mr. Speaker, in light of such glaring irregularities and borderline illegalities, Mr. Speaker, we demand that the governor must appear before the Senate and set the record straight. Otherwise, we will make the recommendation that 43 billion paid without supporting documentation is money that has been stolen and that the governor and his team must take responsibility. If you go across to Meru, Mr. Speaker, Meru had a pending bill of 3.4 billion, out of which 73% was greater than
Senator Fernandi, take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, my county of Homa Bay, 1.5 billion in pending bills, half of it greater than 365 days. I urge honorable senators to take an interest. The report contains the exact amount that your counties owe suppliers. Mr. Speaker, the sad thing is that this money is not only owed to people who did brick and mortar. This money is owed to employees. And quite a good number of these counties have got outstanding employee payables. Mr. Speaker, it emerged that Trans Nzoia County, the people who worked with the outgoing government have not been paid gratuities to date. And it's not only in Trans Nzoia, it is in Bungoma, it is in West Pokot, it is in Homa Bay. It is becoming a crime and a sin to have served a past administration. Mr. Speaker, it is not proper that in the course of an employee's contract, every month some money was being deducted and set aside for settlement of gratuity. And yet, when their contract expires, money is not found to pay that gratuity. Mr. Speaker, that is theft, and we have called it as such in those reports. The other debt that counties are carrying is pensions. Mr. Speaker, counties are deducting money from employees, their pension portion, and deducting money from themselves. And that money is supposed to be remitted to pension funds. Mr. Speaker, that money in a number of counties is not there. And so counties are not able to account for pension obligations over the historical period, and some of them even during the current period. Mr. Speaker, this is a conversation that I have had with the chair of the Council of Governors, before they became truant. And we agreed that this is a national crisis, Mr. Speaker, because if you do not remit pension deductions, you are stealing from the employee, you are stealing from yourself, you are stealing from the country. You should not be called anything else than a thief. Mr. Speaker, we have made very stern recommendations in that report. Statutory deductions are not being remitted. Mr. Speaker, SHA, NSSF, KRA, and all those other statutory deductions, we have directed that counties pay statutory deductions within 90 days. Mr. Speaker, there's also the issue of trade debtors, where contractors, people who have provided goods and services, some of them have not been paid for more than 365 days. We have given strict recommendations, riding on the earlier motion that was brought to the House by Senator Ledamo Lekina, but we have tightened it further. And Mr. Speaker, we have asked the Control of Budget to ensure that all debt greater than 365 days, a payment plan is provided and strictly adhered to. And on this, Mr. Speaker, we must thank the Control of Budget. When this House passed a resolution asking the Controller of Budget not to authorize withdrawals where a payment plan does not exist, the Controller of Budget did not ask whether it is constitutional or not. The Controller of Budget insisted, and to date, before a county gets money to settle pending bills, you must demonstrate that you have a payment plan for the past bill. So I want to thank the Control of Budget for that, and I think, Mr. Speaker, it will get to a point where we'll also be asking the Control of Budget in the same spirit that counties that refuse to submit themselves to accountability, she should also not authorize withdrawals from the consolidated and county revenue funds. Mr. Speaker, let me very quickly address the issue of wage bill. Mr. Speaker, the PFM Act requires counties to spend not more than 35% on personnel emoluments. The reality is different. Vihiga is spending 52%. Bungoma, 53%. Laikipia, the county of my friend, the incoming governor, senator, 55% is going on salaries. So I can tell you, when you become governor day one, your biggest problem is how to rationalize the wage bill. Nyeri, Laikipia, Nyeri, 50% of revenues goes to salaries. Machakos, 60% goes to wage bill. Homa Bay, 55%. And Mr. Speaker, we have a list of all those who are at 50% and above. The reality is that some of these counties are no longer a going concern. They've become payroll stations. And Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Auditor General that the Auditor General did a payroll audit which highlighted all these problems. And it is the intention of the Public Accounts Committee to subject all the governors to respond to the payroll audit that the OAG did. But Mr. Speaker, there's a very interesting development coming from a decision of the High Court. It was a matter involving Matindi versus the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Mr. Speaker, the High Court directed that by 2030, all government, all public and state entities must adhere to the fiscal responsibility principles in the Constitution and in the PFM Act. Mr. Speaker, the effect is that by 2030, any entity that is above 35% on wage bill and is below 30% on development will be deemed to have violated the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I know it will be very difficult to implement it, but that is the law as it is. It is not a suggestion. I think the courts just interpreted the law as it is. And that responsibility was given to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission to compel all state organs to come up with a plan to align with the fiscal responsibility principles. Mr. Speaker, we agree with the decision of the court, and we agree that by 2030, progressively, all counties should be at 35% on employees and 30% on development. Mr. Speaker, let me quickly address issues of project management. White elephants are all over our counties. And Mr. Speaker, with a lot of reservation, one of the biggest white elephants in our counties are the county aggregation and industrial parks. 500 million for each county, 47 counties. That is 23.5 billion Kenya shillings, Mr. Speaker, locked up in warehouses, Some have been built on swamps. Some have been built on land that is not owned by the county government, land owned by private institutions. Mr. Speaker, I want to urge, beyond the recommendations that we are going to make as a Public Accounts Committee, that the relevant committee must look into this. Mr. Speaker, we cannot allow 23.5 billion to be wasted. There must be a way of converting that into value. So far, Mr. Speaker, 3 years since the inception of this good idea, none of the counties have been able to demonstrate value for money. And I think, Mr. Speaker, this should form part of a special audit by the Office of the Auditor General, because we cannot accept, we cannot allow 23.5 billion to be wasted. If we need to do something about it to unlock value, this House has the capacity to direct that action to be taken. Beyond the county aggregation and industrial parks, Mr. Speaker, we have seen the challenge of stalled projects that are transferred to the national government without a proper framework. In Nyandarua, the JM Karaoke Memorial Hospital was transferred from the county government to the national government, and I think it went to the military, and the military did procurement in a restricted manner. And Mr. Speaker, when you look at it, it looks all untidy. The county, which is the owner of the asset, has no visibility, has no control, is not able to answer questions regarding a project under their jurisdiction, and they refer you to the Ministry of Defense. Whereas there is nothing wrong with the national government assisting a county government to complete a stalled project, because it has been done elsewhere. Even in my county, the stadium was completed with the assistance of the national government. And in several other places, the national government is stepping in to complete hospitals. I think in Kakamega, there is an ongoing conversation. But we insist that everything must be done in accordance with the law. We insist that intergovernmental agreements must be entered into. Because, Mr. Speaker, when the land belongs to the county and the asset has been built by the national government, in whose balance sheet will that item be? We have seen cases where markets are being built on county land by the national government. The building is on the balance sheet of the national government. The land is on the balance sheet of the county government. Mr. Speaker, we must come up with a framework to guide counties on intergovernmental agreements to ensure that good things, good intentions do not result in breach of law. Mr. Speaker, another challenge is where counties exceed the ceilings that we have given as a House. For example, the governor of Nairobi is building a palatial residence at Lady Northey Nursery School at 235 million. And yet, this House gave a cap of 45 million. So what is the other definition of impunity, if not this? What other counties have done, Mr. Speaker, is where they find that that budget is limited, they have approached the Finance Committee of the Senate, and they've explained themselves so that they can get some special leave to proceed. In the case of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, 235 million to the Nairobi governor's residence. It is far beyond schedule. We do not believe that that is value for money. And it cuts across county assemblies. Even though, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the Finance Committee also to revisit some of these ceilings, because these ceilings, we put them in place some 4 or 5 years ago. And I've told the Council of Governors, if you want to engage the Senate, come for a conversation such as this, that you have ceilings that are unreasonable because of inflation and the increase in cost of construction. Let's revise the limit for a governor's residence, for example, from 45 to 60 million. That is a reasonable conversation. But, Mr. Speaker, if that conversation is not had, we shall insist on the law as it is. Mr. Speaker, another danger that is creeping in, and I've seen Kakamega County Assembly is getting into this trap. Mr. Speaker, our county entities are getting into loan arrangements without the guarantee of the national government. Homa Bay started it, went to CPF, took a loan of 820 million, called it a TPS, or a tenant purchase scheme, and came up with some legislation in the county assembly. CPF built a palatial county headquarters in 6 months, 820 million in 6 months, so that it could be ready in time for the devolution conference. But what kind of arrangement is that? Because the county is paying back over 4 years, monthly installments over 4 years. How else do you define a loan? It is a loan, Mr. Speaker. A tenant purchase scheme is a loan. And the PFM Act requires that any loan must be guaranteed. Mr. Speaker, you see some of these loans, they securitize on-source revenue. And yet the bulk of the on-source revenue is hospital fees. So when the hospital fees is not available for servicing the loan, the county is in default. And it is the ordinary citizens of that county that suffer the loss. Kakamega County Assembly, I think, are also getting into a similar arrangement for construction of the county assembly office at a very exorbitant price. And so I ask Senator Boni Khalwale to keep an eye on that, but I also ask fellow senators that when you have these kind of arrangements in your counties, let us scrutinize it with a fine tooth comb, because some of them are going to tie your counties in debt that you'll not be able to process. Mr. Speaker, I want to be very quick so that I allow my colleagues the opportunity to speak. Let me speak very briefly about continuity of projects from past administrations. We have seen this problem in Trans Nzoia. We have seen this problem, I think, even in Narok. Narok, there's a hospital that is stuck, and yet millions of shillings have already been spent on it. In Trans Nzoia, there's a doctor's plaza that has been the subject of Senate committee visits for the last 8 or 10 years. In Kakamega, there are the referral hospitals that they've been subject of Senate committee visits for the longest. In Mombasa, there is a stadium that has been the subject of Senate committee visits for the longest. Mr. Speaker, one time, Senator Kibiru, the then Senator for Kirinyaga, brought a motion to this House on the matter of continuity of stalled projects. And Mr. Speaker, we need to revisit that resolution of the House. Let me move on to on-source revenue. Mr. Speaker, today the county with the highest on-source revenue is Nairobi, even though our analysis indicates that Nairobi is under-collecting and at the same time under-declaring. The second highest, Mr. Speaker, would be Kiambu, even though, again, when we looked at the growth in Kiambu numbers, we realized that most of it was hospital fees. The third one, which seems to have a much more organic growth, is Narok. And Mr. Speaker, Narok have demonstrated that their park fees have increased almost by 40–50%. I think that is more organic than when the growth is coming from hospital fees. Because many of our counties are doing business with the sick. And when they get the money from the hospitals, they have come up with funny legislation where 1/4 of that money is retained at the center, and it is only 3/4 that goes back to hospitals. Mr. Speaker, we passed the health laws when we were in Turkana, and I don't think that we intended that money meant for hospitals was supposed to be used for other purposes. Money that is collected under FIF should be ring-fenced. We have also seen, Mr. Speaker, cases where automation is not a guarantor of growth in on-source revenue. And that tells you that some of these county governors and county officials have built backdoors and have put in traps in those systems for diversion of funds. We have seen counties, they put T-junctions in the systems and all sorts of algorithms to divert funds. Mr. Speaker, the Finance Committee must provide direction, I don't know whether it's Finance or ICT Committee, on the system that should be used by counties. I do not agree, Mr. Speaker. Personally, it is not the position of my committee that we should have 47 revenue collection systems, that we should have 47 parking systems, 47 hospital systems, 47 human resource management systems, 47 payroll systems. Mr. Speaker, the PFM gives that responsibility to the National Treasury to design and prescribe. And Mr. Speaker, I do not think that is micromanagement. There is no reason why 47 counties, each of them, should be spending 80 million shillings on a revenue collection system. If you look at the investment and the return, it does not make sense. And so, Mr. Speaker, we are proposing a unified system that can be deployed by county governments. You get a unified ERP that can do revenue, that can do hospital, that can do human resource management, that can do project planning and monitoring. Mr. Speaker, it is possible to do so. On-source revenue, we have seen cases where, in reality, money is collected from Wananchi, but that money does not get to the county coffers. One good case is Kitui. Mr. Speaker, in Kitui, when we looked at the numbers, it looked like only 5 trucks were paying cess on a daily basis. But if you look at it in reality, almost 200 trucks pay for cess on a daily basis. And the question was, where does the money go? And of course, they'll give you stories about climate change and about banning of sand harvesting and about riots and all sorts of things. But Mr. Speaker, in the case of Kitui, we have caused an investigation to ensure that the monies collected from people doing sand business can be accounted for. There's also the issue of unrealistic finance bills. Bungoma County passed a finance act and said they were going to sell fertilizer to farmers at a subsidized price of 2,500, consistent with the national policy. And then at some point, the governor decided that he's a generous man, and because they had just lit up the Christmas tree, he decided to give the fertilizer for free instead of charging the 2,500. And Mr. Speaker, the tragedy is that the assembly that passed that law was in the room, and they defended the governor. If we come up with a finance bill and impose a tariff, let's make sure that we observe that tariff. Moving quickly, Mr. Speaker, we have seen weaknesses in governance and internal controls. Quite a number of our counties still do not have functional audit committees, they do not have internal auditors, and they have not approved their audit charters. We have made recommendations in accordance with the law. And Mr. Speaker, under internal controls, we have also called for the National Treasury to come up with a unified county management system that can capture all the facets and all operations in county governments. As I conclude, as I come to the end, Mr. Speaker, we have also flagged out negligence of professionals. And I want to thank the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. Right now, there's a representative from ISPAC, a very highly qualified accountant called CPA Tunga, who has been very useful to our committee in terms of giving us direction and professional opinion on matters. And Mr. Speaker, where we have found professionals to be negligent, and some of our conversations have gone viral, Mr. Speaker, where we are asking for the persons who signed financial statements. We have put the fear of the Lord in people who are signing financial statements. I think the senator from Kajiado can recall when the receiver of revenue report, nobody wanted to own it because they knew that they did not have the professional capacity. And so, Mr. Speaker, we are seeing an improvement in the rigor and vigilance of professionals as a result of the spotlight that we have shown on them. But we have made recommendations that the Institute of Accountants, the Institute of Human Resource Managers, Institute of Supply Chain Managers, the Law Society of Kenya, and the Engineers Registration Board should take disciplinary action against their members who are found to have breached the law. Mr. Speaker, one painful thing which Senator Abbas referred to my committee was the issue of emergency relief procurement. And Mr. Speaker, that is another black box that is used to loot public resources. You saw the Governor Mandera could not account for 56 million that was used to plant trees. And when we called it out, he was very angry and he went out there saying that we were harassing him. Emergency relief procurement is being abused. The Devolution Committee did a report and forwarded it to the Public Accounts Committee, showing the variances in prices of simple things like cooking oil, things like flour, things like maize, beans, and rice. Counties that are neighbors, you find differentials of 50%, 100% for the same quantity or for the same item. And Mr. Speaker, the ingenious thing that they've put in is something called water tracking. Water tracking. Hundreds of millions are spent on water tracking. And you cannot confirm that this water was delivered to a cow, a camel, or to a human being. So all you do is to get records showing some signatures. Mr. Speaker, one county, represented by Senator Dulo, spent money on supplements for wild animals because they argued that the wild animals are a tourist attraction and a revenue generator. And so how do you write a report saying that zebras ate 50 million and gazelles ate 20 million? So, Mr. Speaker, emergency relief supply is a crime scene. And this Senate must call it as such, and we must direct the EACC and DCI to have keen interest on that. And I thank Senator Abbas because when a statement came from Senator Chute, Senator Abbas called these governors, and he realized that the crime there was so deep that his committee was incapable of unraveling it, and he asked us to invoke the EACC and DCI and we shall do so, Mr. Speaker. Let me finalize by just saying one or two things about the county assemblies. The county assemblies, Mr. Speaker, as I indicated, are doing better. In fact, I foresee a situation, Mr. Speaker, where half of the work we do in Nairobi will be done competently at the county assembly level. The county assembly of Kakamega has impressed us because Kakamega County Assembly, every time their governor or their clerk and speaker comes before us, they come with a report of the county assembly already adopted. Now, Senator Boni Khalwale, I do not know whether it is your influence, but I suspect it is the influence of Senator Boni Khalwale because he was the founding chair of the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate. Kakamega has impressed us. Makueni has also impressed us as a county assembly. And I think there could be 2 or 3 others that have shown good financial discipline, good financial management, and some keenness when it comes to issues of oversight. There's only one thing where we disagree with the county assemblies. It's the issue of CAF, County Assemblies Forum, and the Society of Clerks at the table. Mr. Speaker, the law as is has no framework for putting public money into a private association because there's no way to oversight it. But we believe that we must strengthen CAF. We believe we must strengthen SOCAT, Mr. Speaker. And so we have invited CAF and SOCAT to appear before us to work on a framework. I know there's a law that this House has passed, which is in the other House. But, Mr. Speaker, when I was chairing devolution committee after Senator Kinyua, I brought a similar amendment to this House almost at the same time. The poison in that amendment is that IGRTC wants to be a commission, and that COG wants to be strengthened, and that CAF also wants to be strengthened. So we have mixed 3 things that sometimes have got different and opposite energies in one bill. We have invited SOCAT and CAF to find out how we can work together, because, Mr. Speaker, I believe that a strong CAF, I believe that a strong SOCAT is good for devolution. Mr. Speaker, our recommendations are as follows. There are counties and governors that appeared before our committee, and that was, I think there were about 16. There were 16, Mr. Speaker. These counties that appeared, first of all, we want to commend the governors because they understand, they understand that oversight is a constitutional mandate. We have done very detailed reports, Mr. Speaker, in Volume 1, and we have given them 90 days to come up with an implementation framework on the recommendations that this House hopefully will adopt. Mr. Speaker, there was one county that had an unqualified opinion, and we are proud that it's a county led by a former member of this House. That is Makueni County. The committee commends Makueni County for an qualified opinion. It does not mean that there are no issues of lawfulness and issues of effectiveness. Those are still there, but they are able to prepare their financial statements in the required standards. 8 county assemblies also had an qualified opinion, and Mr. Speaker, I hope that the House will join us in commending them. Then now we have the truants, Mr. Speaker. There are counties that we summoned, and the summons, some of them were running, they were supposed to appear before us yesterday. They did not respond to our summons. They did not appear. They did not even write to explain why they were not appearing. Mr. Speaker, for these counties, and I'm going to name them, we are recommending that we impose the highest fine available under the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. We impose a fine of 500,000. Number 2, in line with the statement by the majority leader 2 weeks ago, we adopt the report of the Auditor General as is. That is our recommendation. Number 3, we will give them 30 days to come before the Senate and present an implementation framework on the recommendations of the Office of the Auditor General. Failure to which, if they do not do that within the 30 days window, the DCI, the ESCC, and the DPP shall take the necessary action. We have also recommended that if they fail to do so within the 30-day implementation window, that they be prosecuted for violation of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. And if convicted, Mr. Speaker, if convicted, that they be declared unfit to hold public office as a result of violation of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act and violation of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the list of shame includes Moranga, Marsabit, the list of shame includes, let me start again, the governors of Garissa, the governor of Nandi, the governor of Homa Bay, the governor of Migori, the governor of Kirinyaga, the governor of Isiolo, the governor of Tharakanithi, the governor of Nakuru, the governor of Kisumu, the governor of Baringo, and the governor of Mombasa. These 11 governors defied the summons of the Senate, and we are making recommendations for their fine, that we are adopting the report of the Auditor General as is, and giving them a 30-day window to come back with an implementation framework, failure to which we shall take the files directly to the EACC, DCI, DPP, and if the House deems fit, we shall issue arrest warrants to compel their production before the Senate. Mr. Speaker, the next category are entities and governors that we summoned, but they wrote seeking an extension and gave reasonable explanation as to why they could not appear. Mr. Speaker, we had to bring a report to the House. And so, since we did not have adequate time to re-invite them, we have adopted the report of the Auditor General as is. We have given them 30 days to come up with an implementation framework, failure to which the DCI, the EACC, the DPP should take necessary action, failure to which they should be prosecuted for violation of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, and upon conviction, declared unfit to hold public office. Mr. Speaker, those counties are as follows, and you notice that on this we have waived the fine of 500,000, but these counties are Moranga, Marsabit, Wajir, Kiambu, Lamu, Nyamira, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Kisii, Kajiado, Kakamega, Siaya, Taita Taveta. There are 13 counties. The only difference is that we didn't impose a fine because at least they corresponded with the Senate. There is evidence in writing that they sought for variation of the dates. But the first 11, Mr. Speaker, didn't care. The first 11 did not care. Now, let me just go to the other one. Now, Mr. Speaker, there's one county that had an adverse opinion. We invited the governor, he didn't come. We invited him, he didn't come. We summoned him yesterday, he didn't come, he didn't write, he didn't seek leave, he didn't provide any explanation why he could not appear before the Senate. This county is Kericho County Executive. Mr. Speaker, where a county gets an adverse opinion, it is an indicator that there are persistent material breaches of the Public Finance Management Act. We have therefore recommended to the House, we impose the fine of 500,000 on the Governor Kericho, adopt the report of the Auditor General as is, give 30 days for an implementation framework, failure to which the DCI, the EACC, DPP to take necessary action, the Governor be prosecuted for violation of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, and upon conviction, be declared unfit to hold public office. For Kericho, Mr. Speaker, we have added a recommendation to urge the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the National Treasury to invoke Article 225 of the Constitution to stop the transfer of funds to Kericho until they put in place proper mechanisms to ensure that the money we are sending there is properly taken care of. Mr. Speaker, finally, Samburu and Nairobi. Yesterday, the police was busy looking for them all over. And Mr. Speaker, we hope the police will find them. We invited them, they didn't come. Re-invited them, they didn't come. Issued summons, they ignored. Summoned them again, they ignored. And so we asked the Inspector General of Police to find them and bring them before the Senate. And Mr. Speaker, I want to laud the Inspector General of Police for making an effort yesterday. I think he might need to talk to some of us because we know the whereabouts of the governor of Nairobi. He was seen within the presence of parliament today. So for Nairobi and Samburu, Mr. Speaker, for Nairobi and Samburu, because we had already fined them, so we are not recommending to fine them again. But one thing that the committee insisted on is that the arrest warrants subsist. It's still on. And so the IG, please look for these characters until you find them. We have also recommended adoption of the OAG report as is. We have directed a 30 days implementation framework, failure to which the DCI, EACC, DPP should take necessary action, prosecution for violation of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, and upon conviction, they be declared to unfit to hold public office if convicted of violation of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. Mr. Speaker, broadly, those are our recommendations. And Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you. I want to thank the clerk of the Senate and the Secretariat that since January, this committee has gone through 188 reports to be able to bring something to the House. And we want to promise that we shall get better with time. We'll bring our reports earlier. But we also hope that the people to whom we are sending money will be more cooperative, more collaborative. This delay has been occasioned by the truancy of the governors that forced us to issue 29 summonses yesterday. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all the other agencies involved, the Inspector General of Police, the EACC, the DCI, the DPP, and generally the members of this House. Accountability is not an option. We all swore to defend and protect the Constitution, and we have a responsibility to Kenyans to do so. I also want to hail the founding fathers of this House. And Mr. Speaker, allow me to make a special mention of Senator Boni Khalwale. When we were agonizing on implementation of Article 2 to 5, we found that there was already jurisprudence. Because in 2014, we were in a similar situation. We had similar problems. So Senator Boni Khalwale and those who were in this House at that time, thank you for establishing that jurisprudence. My disappointment is that some of the people who succeeded him as the chair of the Public Accounts Committee are the biggest truants today. I still wonder, what happens when one becomes a governor? What happens when one leaves this House? And so, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move, and I want to request my very able Vice Chair, Senator Mwaruma, to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No, you can mention it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to second this motion on the adoption of the report of the Auditor General for the financial year 2024-2025, as it has been ably moved by the chair of the Public Accounts Committee, Senator Moses Kajwang, who is also the senator for Homa Bay. I will start where the chair stopped, Mr. Speaker, by thanking your office, Mr. Speaker, because then, were it not for your indulgence in giving us latitude to sit during the time of plenary, we would not have managed to beat the statutory or the constitutional timeline of making sure that the reports are ready by today, 31st of March 2026. I also want to thank the Office of the Speaker, who, because of the support of the Secretariat, which are working under him, they applied themselves judiciously to make sure that the reports are ready on time. I also want to thank the other the entities that we are working with, that is the EACC, whom we sat with, the Inspector General, Mr. Speaker, who brought or started seeking for the people who are supposed to have appeared, but they didn't appear, Mr. Speaker. I must really thank the Inspector General for that. Mr. Speaker, this House is a house of legislation. This House is a house of oversight. Mr. Speaker, we must say that we participate in passing of the two very important laws, and that is Division of Revenue Act, which shares revenue vertically between the national government and the county government. After that happens, Mr. Speaker, we also pass as a House this very important legislation, which is County Allocation of Revenue Act, or CARA, which divides revenue amongst the counties, Mr. Speaker. After the money reaches the counties, it's important to note that there are also in the whole oversight ecosystem entities and bodies that are set to make sure that the money is applied in a prudent manner, the money is applied in a transparent and accountable manner. Mr. Speaker, the County Assembly is tasked to do budgets, Mr. Speaker. When the project is beginning, there's what we call the project management committees. So before we come to the Senate as an oversight house, Mr. Speaker, we must urge our project management committees to ensure that the implementation of the projects and the programs in the counties are done as per the specifications of the PQs. Mr. Speaker, being a senator for the last 9 years or so, Mr. Speaker, I've discovered that there is laxity or opacity in the way projects are implemented, because sometimes you would hear PMCs complaining that a project is ongoing, but then they have not been given the bill of quantities or the specifications for the projects. If the PMCs fail, Mr. Speaker, the county assemblies should serve as the first line of oversight, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that the projects that are being implemented in their wards, the projects that are being implemented in the counties are implemented as per the specifications, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our county assemblies are confused because they have become, or they have purported to be implementers of projects and programs. We don't blame them, Mr. Speaker, because even the National Assembly is also playing as if they are implementers of projects and programs, Mr. Speaker. And that has been a problem when it comes to the county assemblies being the first line of oversight, Mr. Speaker. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I am happy with the indulgence we are able to consider and, Mr. Speaker, adopt the report within the timelines. And after this, Mr. Speaker, these reports, as ably stated by my chair, will be forwarded or will give an opportunity to the counties to prepare an implementation plan of our recommendations, Mr. Speaker, and we have given them 30 days to do that. And after that, Mr. Speaker, we will forward the files to ESCC, DCI, DPP, Mr. Speaker, as the case may be. Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that it is unfortunate that governors who are supposed to appear before this committee, some of them were averse in appearing and elected not to appear. Mr. Speaker, yourself, having been a governor, you are appearing in these committees of parliament without fail. And they should borrow the good example from you, Mr. Speaker. And I know, Mr. Speaker, having been a governor, you will assist us in making sure that we instill discipline into the governors who are now behaving that they are above the law. Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that oversight is not communal. And so it's unfortunate that the Council of Governors can purport to give a directive to individual governors, yet oversight, Mr. Speaker, or accountability, Mr. Speaker, is supposed to be for a particular individual and not communal, Mr. Speaker. When the clerk of the Senate is writing letters, it does not write letters inviting the Council of Governors to come and account for funds that are appropriated or go to the counties. The letters go to specific governors and to specific speakers and clerks of the assemblies, Mr. Speaker. And so it's unfortunate for the Council of Governors to purport to police the governors. We saw very funny spectacles here, Mr. Speaker, where governors who have even come to the Public Accounts Committee, they're in the corridors of Bunge Tower, and they are called by the chair of the Council of Governors and told, please don't go, don't try to go into the committee. I would like to laud some governors who decided to go into the committees and account for the money that is taken to them. For those who did not, or who elected not to come, there are specific recommendations. I would not want to repeat them. which have been outlined by our chair, that they would face the consequences as outlined in the law, Mr. Speaker. I would like to say that county assemblies, the way they are fashioned, there are people who have had misgivings, and even reports that have had misgivings that the capacity of the county assemblies might not be good in terms of oversighting the governors. Mr. Speaker, we have been working for the autonomy of the county assemblies. Our county assemblies have become very weak institutions to do oversight to the governors because, number one, they are not autonomous financially. And when they are too hard on the governors, sometimes they're denied their finances. Mr. Speaker, also, I have already said and indicated that some assemblies or some MCAs implement or undertake to implement the projects and programs, Mr. Speaker. And so, if they are involved in procurement of the goods and services, how do they then again turn to be the people to oversight? That is why the Senate then becomes a very important institution in doing oversight, Mr. Speaker. We have looked at the issues, and my chair has ably gone through the issues that pose a fiduciary risk, Mr. Speaker, and one of them is the pending bills. Mr. Speaker, we have recommended as a committee, and I would seek concurrence from this House and the senators, that all the governors and the county executives must do a payment plan and submit it to the control of budget and a copy to this House, Mr. Speaker, for follow-up. We've also realized that there are system weaknesses in revenue management. Mr. Speaker, we have proposed that there should be automation of revenue collection, Mr. Speaker. And there are under collections. There's an issue to do with under collection of revenue, Mr. Speaker. We have advised or recommended that the counties must update the evaluation rolls. Even those counties, Mr. Speaker, that have updated the evaluation rolls, they are shying from implementing the new valuation rolls for fear of political backlash, Mr. Speaker. We want the governors to be bold enough to make sure that if the county has spent money to write and do new valuation rolls, that those valuation rolls are implemented so that, Mr. Speaker, revenue increases, and when revenue increases, Mr. Speaker, there will be more projects and programs, and also a reduction of the pending bills, Mr. Speaker. We have also talked about incomplete projects, Mr. Speaker. This is a value for money issue, Mr. Speaker. Most of the counties that have started projects, some of them that have been started 5, 6 years ago, up to now, they are incomplete. These projects, Mr. Speaker, belong to the community because when they were being done, public participation was done, and there was need for these projects, Mr. Speaker, to be implemented in those counties. When a new governor is elected, Mr. Speaker, there is a tendency for these governors not to complete the projects. We have said, Mr. Speaker, as a committee, and our recommendation is that those projects must be budgeted for and they must be completed, Mr. Speaker, so that the residents of the counties might get value for money. Mr. Speaker, we've also seen that there are pension liabilities, that is unremitted pension, Mr. Speaker, and one of the counties that is leading, Mr. Speaker, is Narok, which has not remitted 1.9 billion in pension money, Mr. Speaker. We are urging and recommending that all these unremitted liabilities must be remitted to the pension funds, Mr. Speaker, because there are so many people who are retiring, and when they retire, they would require to get their retirement benefits in good time, and that is the reason why they are saving, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on governors who have not appeared before the committee, specific recommendations have been done. I don't need to repeat them, Mr. Speaker, but again, I must say that there's no one in Kenya who is above the law. The law must be followed. There is no way you can go to a position or seek a position where you are supposed to expend money on behalf of the public And when it comes to accounting for the money, then you start hide and seek, Mr. Speaker. With those very few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I would like to second this motion and urge the senators to adopt it as it is, and also recommend even stricter recommendations. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mandago, take your seat. Senator for Kisumu County, take your seat, please. Senator Mandago, take your seat. Now, Honorable Senator, I will now propose the question that the Senate adopt the reports of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee on the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the year ended 30th of June 2025, A, Volume 1, which was laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 26th of March 2026 for the following county executives: Vihiga, Kitui, Bungoma, Embu, Nyandarua, Mandera, Laikipia, Kwale, Meru, Bomet, West Pokot, Nyeri, Trans Nzoia, Elgeyo Marakwet, Narok, and Machakos. B, Volume 2, which was laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st of March 2026 for the following county assemblies: Marsabit, Wajir, Meru, Siaya, Busia, Muranga, Baringo, Kakamega, Makueni, Nyeri, Tana River, Nyamira, and Kericho. Volume 3, which was laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st of March 2026 for the following county executives: Turkana, Tana River, Makueni, Tharaka Nithi, Nandi, Siaya, Muranga, Nakuru, Marsabit, Samburu, Nairobi City County, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Wajir, Migori, Baringo, Kiambu, Lamu, Nyamira, Uasin Gishu, Busia, Isiolo, Kirinyaga, Kisii, Kajiado, Kericho, Kakamega, Kilifi, Garissa, Mombasa, and Taita Taveta County. Now the floor is open for debate. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number 111 on limitation of debate. We have a very unique situation this afternoon, and we must lead the House in how we resolve this matter. It's now 4:24, Mr. Speaker. The House rises at 6:30 unless maybe we move a motion to extend time. And this is just the first of the two motions that are before us, because this is a public accounts. We have a similar motion also for Public Investments Committee, and we must split time equally between the two committees. We only have 2 hours to the rise of the House, and more importantly, Mr. Speaker, I don't know where Senator Ledama is. Oh, yeah, Mr. Speaker, he's moved closer to me. Earlier when I spoke, I did mention that Senator Ledama and Senator Wakoli, who are now in the House, the whips, first must ensure that we have enough people, because we need 24 delegations to pass both reports, both motions, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, we must distribute this time equally from now up to 6:30, so that perhaps we have a set of senators speak to the first motion, and then another set speak to the second motion, because the issues are pretty much the same, and you speak on the same. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, there is a suggestion to extend the sitting, but I know this House very well. I've been here long enough. I can believe Senator Mogeni when he tells me extend the House, because he sits here sometimes until very late. But there are younger people in the House who I know, Mr. Speaker, when it gets to certain hours, they have other duties to respond to, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I do not want to run the risk. This is such an important matter. Mr. Speaker, given, if I read the mood of the House correctly, the mood of the House is that we must conclude both reports and both motions by 6:30. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I rise to propose that debate be limited to 1 hour, so that by 5:30 we take a vote on this one of Public Accounts Committee and chairperson of Public Investments Committee, the former deputy party leader of ODM, Mr. Speaker. He has another political party which I'm not sure if he has registered, Mr. Speaker. We'll also take the floor at 5:30, and we make sure that by 6:20 we rise, Mr. Speaker. No, we conclude so that we also vote on that particular one, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, I rise to propose that debate be limited to a maximum of 1 hour, tied to 5 minutes each per speaking member. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request the Leader of Minority to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second.
Now, honorable senators, I may not need to propose the question. Can I proceed to put the question? That debate on this particular motion be limited to 1 hour, with a senator speaking for not more than 5 minutes. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So if you get a chance to speak, kindly do so for not more than 5 minutes. Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Speaker, I am a very proud member of the Public Accounts Committee, and I am very proud of the chair of the Public Accounts Committee. You've done a fantastic job in leading this committee, Honorable Speaker. Because the committee has recommended that we adopt the report of the Auditor General for Nairobi as is, I have brought the report as is. Mr. Speaker, I want you to see that this is the actual Auditor General's report on the County Executive of Nairobi for the year ended 30th June 2025. And Honorable Speaker, we have agreed in the Committee of Public Accounts that if we are going to deal with the problems of devolution, that fight must begin in Nairobi. And when you read this report, Honorable Speaker, you can see why we are recommending very, very drastic measures against the county government of Nairobi. I have just chosen a sample, Honorable Speaker, so that people out there who are following this debate understand why it is extremely critical that we have conversations with governors on these reports of the Auditor General's report. Speaker, at page 3 of the Auditor General's report on Nairobi, we start off by a whooping 1.9 billion Kenya shillings that was withdrawn from salary account held at a local bank during the year. The withdrawals were not supported by any payroll summaries, payment vouchers, approvals, or anything to show where this money was going, Honorable Speaker. I want to move quickly, Honorable Speaker, to another thing. If you read the report on Nairobi, it just starts with irregular, unsupported, unconfirmed, undisclosed. It is extremely troubling, Honorable Speaker, when you read the report on Nairobi. You come to something that the people of Nairobi have been complaining about, garbage collection. Speaker, this one, I just want to read it verbatim. That although the county executive procured various private contractors and assigned them to specific zones for waste collection, the county also operated 56 solid waste collection trucks for which it incurred fuel expenditure amounting to 124 million shillings. The Auditor General says no evidence was provided to show that these trucks were assigned to any operational zones or activity logs, trip sheets, fuel consumption records, or supervisory reports. Speaker, what the auditor is saying is that you give private contractors contracts to collect garbage in Nairobi, and you assign them specific zones. For instance, you say this truck is for Kilimani. Then you have your own 56, which you don't assign to any zone. And the danger there, Honorable Speaker, is that people could actually be paid, getting paid for things that they did not know, did not do, because it is possible that some of that garbage in those areas was actually collected by the 56, one of the 56, county vehicles. Speaker, I want to go to one of our biggest projects in this city,
And I know that the governor is very, very proud of this particular program of his. It consumes almost 1 billion shillings annually, Honorable Speaker. It is the county feeding, school feeding program that he calls Dish in a County. If you look at the report of the Auditor General, it is titled there, Irregularities in Program Design and Implementation of the School Feeding Program, Dish in a County. And Honorable Speaker, if you flip over to the page, the Auditor General has identified 13 separate irregularities in this particular program. And if you just go through some of them very quickly, Honorable Speaker, you will see, for instance, there was no disclosure of third-party agreements, deployment of human resources, and accountability for donor and partner contributions. You go to number 5 there, it says the program exhibited characteristics of a public-private partnership, yet no formal PPP agreement was in existence. Payments amounting to 9 million shillings were made to Dagoretti South Central Kitchen, despite the existence of a similar CDF-operated program without evidence of harmonization or verification of outputs. 118 million shillings made to non-hub kitchens without documentation to confirm official designation, while an additional 118 million shillings was paid without any supporting documentation. And the list goes on, Honorable Speaker. We have so many problems, including the construction of the house at Lady Northey, which has told Honorable Speaker, and other irregularities, including in management and award of court cases, Honorable Speaker. You will see that this report, you might think it was prepared by the DCI themselves, because all this sounds like disclosures of criminal activity. And this is why I'm very proud that the committee has said that we need to be able to submit these reports to the agencies that are now responsible for law enforcement in this country to take action. Irregularities in the construction of a fire station at Gikomba Market. It is one of those. We have even irregularities in the supply and delivery of male condoms, Senator Khalwal. There is nothing that we seem to be getting right. This is at the page 45 of the report of the Auditor General. So that, Honorable Speaker, when we ask these governors to appear here, this one's is 15,788,521 Kenya shillings. Yes. This is the Auditor General's report. This report was not prepared. It was not prepared by Sifuna. So, Speaker, I heard the chair of the Council of Governors this afternoon. I heard him say that we need to be nicer to them when they come to the Committee of Public Accounts. Honorable Speaker, it is not possible to be nice in the face of such irregularities when our people are suffering and they need the support of this Senate to be able to bring governors to account. That Wajir governor himself, Honorable Speaker, you have heard the report from the chair about the question of relief food. They say that we come there to embark.
Senator Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I want to rise by supporting our committee. Today afternoon, I'm a proud member of County Public Accounts Committee, and more so, serving as the senator in this session. Mr. Speaker, I want to begin by saying the following. Mr. Speaker, I am very surprised, and I'm happy, and number of county governments, Mr. Speaker, has been named and shamed, including Nandi County, Mr. Speaker. If you want to visit the county headquarters of corruption, larceny, ineffectiveness, moribunds, public plundering, you need to visit Nandi County, Mr. Speaker. And I'm happy, and I want to challenge EACC and DCI, Mr. Speaker, to seize up the recommendations that we shall adopt as a House, Mr. Speaker, because it cannot be the county has vehicles, but they are doing car hire of 41 million shillings, Mr. Speaker. It cannot be that there are no drugs in Maraba, in Kapsabet, in Kabiyet, yet the governor allocates himself 484 million for pleasure, office entertainment, chai and mandazi, and personal escapades, including in Masai Mara. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that Nandi allocates 60 million to bursary, but 484 to personal entertainment of the governor, named or christened as office operations, that is Christian, as massages to the governor, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that as we recommend today that it will go to the history and the great people of Nandi, that despite the plundering of resources, Mr. Speaker, that even as it rains today in Nandi, the roads remain impassable. Today, Mr. Speaker, there is chaotic human resource, and I want to challenge EACC and one of the lawyers is looking at me who represented that matter, that more than 2,000 employees in Nandi was sacked unfairly, and governor decided to hire his personal cronies. I am happy the report has flagged that matter, Mr. Speaker, and I hope justice will be done to those employees, Mr. Speaker. Even if you visit Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, Mr. Speaker, the bed sheets, the mortuary services, Mr. Speaker, the provision of drugs is still a mirage, Mr. Speaker. Even when it came to Floka, Mr. Speaker, there were many money that was spent, but they could not be accounted, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, these governors, and I want to appeal to the Public Accounts Committee, now that the governor of Nandi refused to appear on summonses, the warrant of arrest must be issued pronto and must be dealt with once and for all, Madam Speaker. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I am surprised that the chair of Council of Governors, in fact, the House must order his immediate arrest, Mr. Speaker. How can Mohammed Abdullahi, who is town, they used to use toilet collectors every evening, Mr. Speaker. How can he lecture some of us? How can he name and shame our names when the toilets in Wajir town are being collected literally by ants in every evening, Mr. Speaker? How can he tell us? He must be arrested. 1.5 billion of employees' payables in Wajir cannot be accounted, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, even in Wajir, Mr. Speaker, there are almost 3.5 billion on pending bills, Mr. Speaker. Even the abattoir of Wajir County International remains unutilized, Mr. Speaker. They are in Wajir, there are 149 vehicles, but against 216 drivers, Mr. Speaker. He does not have the moral authority to lecture the Senate on accountability. Mr. Speaker, I heard him today saying we need to sit and negotiate. We can never negotiate on issues of accountability and transparency, Mr. Speaker. This is not a social call. This is not a party-day party, Mr. Speaker. If he wants to negotiate on accountability, the Constitution is very clear. Article 96, Article 10, Article on principle of finances, Mr. Speaker, on principles of finance, accountability and transparency, Mr. Speaker. Even on Nairobi and Samburu, I want to thank the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Speaker, that the two governors must be arrested and produced pronto before the committee. And we are proposing, Mr. Speaker, to the IG that the police parliamentary offices, we must use them to all the two governors, Governor of Samburu, Governor of Nairobi, until they are processed, because lawyers know, Mr. Speaker, the warrant of arrest will only be discharged when the two governors appear before our committee, Mr. Speaker. So they must be dealt once and for all. And I want to appeal that the Senate prepares a charge sheet on all these governors. We present to the DPP. They should be declared unfit to all public office for all governors who have refused to appear, Mr. Speaker. On Kericho, Mr. Speaker, on Kericho, apart from the mass graves, the closing of the hospital, the poor sanitation, Mr. Speaker, the adverse opinion means they got an E-. And I want to challenge the majority leader to lead us. That governor must be done forensic audit and be held once and for all, Mr. Speaker. On Siaya, finally, I have seen Governor Orengo, Mr. Speaker.
Senator, your time is up. Senator Mwini Haji.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii kuchangia ripoti ya kamati ya wasibu wa bunge hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwanza kabisa naunga mkono ripoti hiyo na kwamba wamefanya kazi nzuri kama kamati. Kwa muda wa karibu miezi miwili wameweza kuangalia ripoti zote na kwa hakika wameweza kufanya kazi nzuri kabisa. Kwanza Mheshimiwa Spika, pia nichukue fursa hii kupongeza bunge la kaunti ya Mombasa kwamba ni moja yale mabunge ambayo walipata unqualified opinion kama ilivyosemekana, Mheshimiwa Spika. Masikitiko Mheshimiwa Spika ni kwamba Mombasa iko katika wale 11 bora katika kupinga katiba na vile vile pia kukataa kuhudhuria katika bunge hili. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia Mombasa kwa sasa ina matatizo mengi. Ni jana tu tulikuwa na mkasa wa moto Mheshimiwa Spika katika kijiji kimoja chaitwa Bokole kule maeneo ya Changamwe, ambapo zimamoto ya kaunti ya Mombasa ilikwenda katika tukio lile ikiwa haina maji. Watu wamepigia simu zimamoto waje kusaidia, na zimamoto inakutoka mbio, wakifika pale hawana maji, wanakaa mali inachomeka bila msaada wowote Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni majuzi tu kulikuwa na kelele kuhusiana na utendakazi wa Coast General Hospital ambapo daktari mkuu alisimamishwa kazi kiholela bila ya kufuata sheria. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukija katika swala la KAIPS, zile vituo vya kujenga viwanda Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni moja ya kaunti ambazo zitakuwa na ghost ama zile project ambazo hazimaliziki. Kwa sababu sasa kwa muda wa miaka miwili, Mheshimiwa Spika, japokuwa serikali kuu imepeleka karibu milioni 200 katika kaunti ya Mombasa, kaunti ya Mombasa haijaongeza hata ndururu katika bajeti yake. Mwaka jana tulipozuru kituo hichi, walisema wataweka pesa katika bajeti ya mwaka 2025-26. Juzi tulizuru kituo hicho, Mheshimiwa Spika, na kamati ya biashara na viwanda ya bunge hili. Wakasema sasa wataweka katika mwaka 2026-27. Kwa hivyo kila mwaka ni kuongeza, kila mwaka ni kuongeza. Na wasivyo na Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa vile hawana mipango, walikuwa wasema sisi tunataka tuje tena katika bunge la Senate tuongezewe pesa ili tuweze kumaliza mradi huu. Wakati wao hawajatoa hata ndururu katika commitment yao ya shilingi milioni 250. Mheshimiwa Spika, tukiangalia kaunti ya Mombasa kwa ujumla ni kaunti ambayo ina uwezo mkubwa. Lakini tukiangalia hivi sasa katika mapato, ripoti ya auditor ya miezi hii 6 ya kwanza ya mwaka huu, tutapata kwa pesa nyingi zinapatikana katika mahospitali. Na katika hospitali hizi, Mheshimiwa Spika, huduma ni duni. Ni kwa sababu hakuna wahudumu wa kutosha, hakuna madaktari wa kutosha, hakuna vifaa vya kutosha. Hivi sasa katika hospitali kuu ya Coast General haina MRI ambayo inaweza kutumika wakati wagonjwa wamekwenda Kwale na shida za MRI. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, pesa nyingi ambazo Mombasa inazalisha hivi sasa inazalishwa kupitia kwa hospitali. Lakini huduma za hospitali, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni duni kabisa. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi naunga mkono kwamba zile hatua ambazo zimependekezwa zichukuliwe. Lakini isipokuwa jambo moja, Mheshimiwa Spika, kwamba kupewa tena siku 30 kwa magavana hao wajitetee mbele ya kamati ni kupoteza wakati. Mheshimiwa Spika, walipewa muda wa miezi miwili, Januari, Februari na March, waje wajitetee kuhusiana na zile audit queries. Na hiyo sio mara ya kwanza walikuwa wakutana na hizi maswali walikuwa wanauliza auditor. Maswali haya walipewa kutoka mwezi wa 9 mwaka jana. Wayajibu, wakashindwa kuyajibu, na waliposhindwa kuyajibu yakaletwa katika bunge la Senate. Bunge la Senate waliamua kususia. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, lazima hatua ichukuliwe. Kama ni mtu kushtakiwa, ashtakiwe. Atapata fursa ya kujitetea mahakamani. Lakini kupewa tena siku 30, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni makosa. Kwa hivyo kamati, Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi naunga mkono, lakini hakuna kuwapa hata siku moja kuja kujitetea, kwa sababu walipewa siku za kuja kujitetea, lakini wakakataa kuja mbele ya bunge la Senate na kamati zake kujitetea. Namalizia Mheshimiwa Spika kusema kwamba bunge yetu ya county, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Asante Senator. Senator Boni Kalwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, before I support this motion, allow me to congratulate my kid brother, Senator Godfrey Osoti. Osoti remains stoic. When you are fought in politics is when you are being told you are strong. There's nothing to miss in being a deputy party of the Orange Democratic Movement. We have bigger offers on the table. They are all for your taking. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to strongly support this report and congratulate Senator Moses Kajwang. I notice that you have remained stoic during the attacks, even right now when you have been presenting your motion. You are stoic to the high decibels that we are hearing from the Council of Governors. That is what oversight is all about. When you go to people who control purse strings and you ask them questions of why, how, and what for, they can never like you. So you've made the House proud. However, there is room for us to improve our relationship with governors so that they don't quickly run out to the media, forgetting that at the end of the day, we are truly the institution that is supposed to protect those county governments. Mr. Speaker, I note that in things to do, Senator Kajwang has recommended that these matters be expeditiously pushed through EACC, DCI, and the Office of the Deputy, the Office of the Public, the Director of Public Prosecution. This is okay. But my dear colleagues, are we hearing what is going on in that ecosystem of these institutions? Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the EACC, and the DCI? These institutions are not working in harmony. We know there are cases today where EACC has completed investigations. They have made recommendations that the DPP proceeds and takes action by prosecuting some governors. We all know that we have cases in the country today where it's not moving, either because there is some subtle support from the executive, I don't know, or there is some subtle reluctance to some people in the judiciary, I don't know. When we were making this law, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Act, the popular opinion, Mr. Speaker, then was that we should deny ESCC prosecutory powers. It is starting to look like ESCC should be given prosecutory powers so that they are not frustrated by the office of the DPP. Mr. Speaker, what is more, there is a case to learn from Uganda. In Uganda, you have the park police. They sit in the park proceedings. And Mr. Speaker, once the case is made against an accounting officer, the park police on the spot arrest the accounting officer. Need to continue doing better legislation so that we can succeed. Mr. Speaker, Senator Kajwang has spoken to the issue of white elephants. That only one white elephant is running in the region of 25 billion shillings. It is truly sad that we have wasted 25 billion shillings for the KIPes. In fact, in Kakamega, we are leading by example. We went to Likuyani, got some land there. Helicopters arrived in Kakamega, earth movers, all manner of machines. The president was there in person. The
Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, from the word go, I want to support this report and particularly congratulate my senator, the chair of PAC, Senator Moses Kajwang, a leader who never disappoints in his any duty that has been given to him. Honorable Speaker, I intend to use very humble words because in our Lenten campaign, this is the Holy Week for my faith. And that week, this week, we only practice humility, forgiveness, giving, and Honorable Speaker, as I say, a lot of forgiveness. Honorable Speaker, I support this report, and I want particularly to talk about some of the recommendations from this Honorable Committee. And to say from the word go, Honorable Speaker, that it is coming out very clearly that governors, while they are the heads of county governments, they are not supporting the spirit of devolution. Honorable Speaker, the issue of pending bills has been discussed here so many times. Honorable Speaker, when counties came to be in 2013, our people were very excited because services were being brought closer to the people, and not only services, Honorable Speaker, resources were also following these functions. And we saw in the initial first term of governors, the counties were very vibrant. We saw upcoming traders were doing a lot of works with the county government, and payments were done. And Honorable Speaker, in the counties you could notice when payments were done, a lot of business people built themselves. But Honorable Speaker, with the counties now not meeting their obligations and not paying their bills, especially to contractors, we can only see a lot of miseries with the traders that we have at the counties. Honorable Speaker, the report has also mentioned that their money is sometimes paid without proper documentation. Honorable Speaker, these are governments that must run their activities as spelled out in the law. The other thing I want to talk about is the issue of non-remittance of pensions, Honorable Speaker. It is very unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that somebody would work for the years on which they work, but at the end of it, then you find that pensions, their savings have not been ring-fenced, their savings are not available, and we see a lot of these people wallow in miseries all over the counties. The issue of the wage bill also came up, Honorable Speaker, that a number of counties are now having wage bills that are beyond the spelled out limits. We have seen counties having 55% and above, or even the above 35% that was initially spelled out. Honorable Speaker, this only means that very less development is taking place in the counties, and yet our main focus in the counties is services that should be given to our people. If the wage bill is going to be to the percentages that have been spelled out here, Honorable Speaker, then it means less resources are available for health services, less resources are available for water, are available for agriculture, and Honorable Speaker, you know these are very key services that our people require. Then, Honorable Speaker, it is also unfortunate that our counties are littered with a lot of unfinished projects. It means there is no value for money for the projects that we have in the counties. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, it is unfortunate that even the on-source revenue that is declared by the counties do not reflect in the services.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Hilary Sigay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Let me begin by thanking the chairperson of this committee as well as the members of Public Accounts Committee for running us through a very well done report. I am aware that, Mr. Speaker, they have had sleepless nights. They have had accusations left, right, center from those whom we are oversighting. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, the mover of the motion, the chairperson of this committee, deserves an appreciation by the House for a job well done. Mr. Speaker, this particular report, I wish, could not only be read and understood by the members of this House, who are the senators as well as the members of the public, but as well by the members of our various county assemblies, because ordinarily they ought to be the primary oversight places where by the time we are getting this report, they should have had an opportunity also to understand what it is all about. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, from part of the comments that we've received from the report, most of our county assemblies have not been able to do the primary oversight that they are supposed to do, and that is one of the reasons why we are where we are in matters corruption, matters misuse of public resources, and the very negative reports that we have received from the Office of the Auditor General. I am happy, Mr. Speaker, that the committee has recommended full adoption of the contents of the report from the Office of the Auditor General, as well as additional recommendations to relevant government agencies, including the DCI, Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, among other relevant agencies. And I urge those agencies to take appropriate action, including preferring charges where necessary without having to wait further for follow-up from this particular House. Mr. Speaker, having had an opportunity to look at this report, it is so sad that we are dealing with a report from our respective counties where those who are in charge of those resources have blatantly been abusing the resources. They have never bothered for a moment to appreciate the fact that they are at one time, one day, going to be responsible and to be answerable to the misuse of public resources. Mr. Speaker, to be a bit specific, in some of the comments, for example, or other recommendations from the Office of the Auditor General, we have got very old debts. Most of our county governments have had their contractors who have worked for the projects that they had been contracted to, having not been paid for a period of over 1 year. A number of them, Mr. Speaker, particularly from my county where I represent, that's the county of Bomet, have had several matters in court. Their properties have been sold by auction or by those whom they had taken facilities from, and the county government don't give a damn. They don't care. These are business people who've lost years of investments owing to inability on their part to repay because they have not been paid. The report about county government spending more than 50% of their allocations on personal emoluments or payroll audits, Mr. Speaker, is one worrying aspect of this report. The county of Bomet have had issues and have noted, Mr. Speaker, for instance, that in this particular aspect, irregular payment of salaries and personal allowances is glaring in the report. And over 1,454 officers are paid outside the IPPG system. Over 1,454, over 706 officers are paid what is called special salaries, or rather special allowances that the law does not recognize. Another 17 officers, Mr. Speaker, are paid what is called special salaries. Mr. Speaker, remember, we have got a big problem with regards to the employment and payment of salaries to teachers under the ECD program. These are teachers who are underpaid, these are teachers whose salaries delay, and these are teachers whose payment program and plan is actually contrary to the recommendation by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. And Mr. Speaker, when we talk about 1,454 officers who are paid outside the system, this is a sign of extreme corruption, because a payment outside the system.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me begin by appreciating the good work of Senator Kajwang in terms of accountability or ensuring a fiduciary responsibility. But Mr. Speaker, today's report is really an affirmation that this House has got enough powers to be able to ensure accountability. Mr. Speaker, I've listened to the report carefully, and when I think about what is happening today with the governors, I want to remind all of us that we have so much powers, yet most of us do not utilize the powers that we have. And if colleagues from both sides of the aisle can be able to reflect back on the constitutional powers that this House have or has, which are quite limited on when we can be able to apply them to ensure accountability, the time is now, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is happening today is that there is a club called the Council of Governors who are attempting to overthrow this government. They are attempting to define their unity as, instead of it being intergovernmental cooperation, but as a collective impunity, Mr. Speaker. When you speak to any of the governors out there, they quickly say there's a decision by the Council of Governors. Let us demystify what is this Council of Governors. The distinguished senator from Homa Bay came here and presented impunity in all the 47 counties. Clearly indicated that these governors, some of them who used to live in apartments in Parklands and Pangani, but are now driving $200,000 cars. They are living in manicured mansions. But when you ask them to account for monies that it is not the Senate that comes out and say that they have misappropriated the funds, it is the Auditor General. They say the Council of Governors has taken this position, and if I appear before the Senate, it will now be seen as if I am going against the collective duty. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind this House, and I want to welcome all of us to go back and read Section 18 and Section 19 of our Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act. While at it, I'd like to remind all of us to take the Constitution and read Article 226, subsection 5, and Article 125 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I listened to the distinguished senator from Homa Bay. Although I agree partly with some of their recommendations, there are some that I do not agree with. The part that I do not agree with, and I would not be shy but to say, is that you've already summoned someone. The Constitution under Article 125 gives you the same powers as a High Court. Section 19 and Section 18, Section 18 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act outlines the procedure of witnessing or of inviting a witness and also summoning. And it spells out clearly and says, if a witness who has been summoned fails to appear or appears but does not satisfy the committee, there are consequences. Yet again, you come out and say, let's give them 30 days to be able to appear. For what? So that they can go out there and try to overthrow the sovereignty of this House. Or so that they can go out there and try to define what check and balances are. I want to invite you, my colleagues, that the time is now for us to utilize the tool, which is the most powerful tool that we have, we failed to pass the Division of Revenue Bill. We failed to pass CARA. Let's not send money to the counties if they cannot account for that money. That is the only time that will ensure accountability in this country. Otherwise, when you come here and you say we are giving you 30 days, oh, DPP, if you talk to DPP will tell you clearly that I cannot move unless ESCC carries out its task. Come on, guys, wake up. You guys are legislators. You know the law. You know our strength, and our strength is only on the division of revenue as well as CARA. If you are going to say, okay, fair enough, we will pass the division of revenue, stop sending money to the counties. That is the only time that these guys will recognize the fact that when they leave office, the day they leave office like this, immediately, Article 2265 will follow them. So if you are serious on the issue of accountability, I want to urge 30 seconds, please.
Add him 30 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. If you are serious about holding these county governors accountable, I want to invite the committee to go back and read the PFM Act. And while at it, take the Constitution and read Article 179. The executive authority of the county is vested and exercised by the executive committee. Hold all those people accountable, not only the county governor. Hold the CC Finance, who is the head of Treasury, the CEO Finance, because most of them will tell you, we are still waiting for the direction from the governor. Why are you making someone so powerful? Yet you are powerful. Unless you become powerful and you exercise the powers that you have, you will be rendered useless. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheriot.
Mr. Speaker, I have so many things to say in such a short time, I don't know even what I'm going to do. But I'll be very quick. I limit the time out of respect to the House and the need that the reasons I presented. Mr. Speaker, if you take away from the Senate the powers to invite and to summon witnesses, then this becomes a gathering of elders who cannot do anything. Mr. Speaker, it is a right that we should be willing to die for. And that is why, despite all the conversations that we've had with people trying to coerce and talk to us very nicely, saying, come, let us reason together, I have made it abundantly clear to none other than the chair of COG, my good friend Governor Ahmed, that I believe it, just the same way I'm so certain about who I am and what my name is, that we can never negotiate the moral duty of governors appearing before the Senate to answer for resources that has been given unto them. And the first day I disagreed in principle is when they went to Kilifi, Mr. Speaker, and arrogated themselves powers to choose which committee they can appear and which one they cannot. That one, Mr. Speaker, I am willing to go to the grave over that. And so long as that remains to be an issue between us and the Council of Governors, my position on this matter is very clear, Mr. Speaker. I saw COG today trying to address us through press conference. The law remains the law, Mr. Speaker. I suggested, and I want to congratulate the Public Accounts Committee, that any governor who has chosen not to appear before this committee, it simply means that there is an admission of guilt on their part on the charges and the findings that have been made by the Auditor General, Mr. Speaker. I have argued many times in this House, Mr. Speaker, that even our Public Accounts Committee is, Mr. Speaker, as arranged, just a tip of the iceberg in terms of finding out the rot that exists in our county governments. Because as a county senator, Mr. Speaker, you are far more aware of the challenges that exist in your own county government than your colleagues, Mr. Speaker. But that is a discussion for another day. As we are here today, Mr. Speaker, we are discussing a very important matter. That there are 16 men and women of conscience who chose to appear and submit themselves to the authority of the law. We commend those governors, Mr. Speaker, and appreciate them for being responsible citizens and adults. To the 29, Mr. Speaker, and therefore we need to go to the stomachs of the lions to find out where the money went to, Mr. Speaker. Then you can understand why somebody does not want to appear before Public Accounts Committee. Mr. Speaker, it will be a dereliction of duty of us as the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Speaker, if we let these 29 governors go scot-free. Mr. Speaker, there are certain decisions that we must make as a House. Number one, Mr. Speaker, I expect that out of the lesson that we have learned during this debacle between us and the Council of Governors, Mr. Speaker, we must amend the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act, Mr. Speaker. 500,000 for people who are disappearing with 2 billion or 3 billion of unaccounted funds, Mr. Speaker, is a slap on the wrist, Mr. Speaker. That fine needs to be elevated, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we must give additional powers, Mr. Speaker, to our parliamentary committees over and above, Mr. Speaker, just summoning and issuing the summons that they have given, Mr. Speaker. They must be able to pass certain decisions that have the equal powers, Mr. Speaker, that a court of law has when a witness fails to appear in a case that is before them. The third and the final thing, Mr. Speaker, that we must do is that we must not remove our leg off the gas pedal, Mr. Speaker, on this highway of accountability. We must be firm about it. When you're a senator like myself and your county has an adverse opinion, what do I tell the residents of Kericho? Some of us don't believe in doing oversight in funerals. That's why I was waiting for my governor at the Public Accounts Committee to come and ask him, Dr. Eric Mutai, what happened in the year 2024, 2025. An adverse opinion, Mr. Speaker, means that your books were so bad, they could not even explain where you took the money, Mr. Speaker. Now I don't have that particular opinion. By his failure to appear before Public Accounts Committee, it simply means that he has agreed with the auditors that the books are so bad, Mr. Speaker, that he has no explanation. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we must follow through with the recommendations of Public Accounts Committee so that we recover the monies that have been lost in each and every of our 47 devolved units, Mr. Speaker, because that is our work.
Unfortunately, Senator Cheriot, your time is up. No, your time is up. Senator Mofire.
Honorable Speaker, I'm a proud member of the Public Accounts Committee, which is headed by my big brother, Senator Kajwang. We have worked tirelessly to make sure that this report is before this House today. Honorable Speaker, accountability is not optional. It's a constitutional obligation. And the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, it's a creation of Kenyans. It's not a creation of any individual. So when any individual or entity decides to say that they are not going to account for billions of money devoted to their units, that is a blatant violation of the Constitution, and it's an insult even to the Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, I have captioned a very elaborate presentation by Senator Kajwang, who happens to be the chair, and who has been supported by the very humble Vice Chair, Senator Maluma. Honorable Speaker, we have under very lengthy interactions. It's unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that at no given time that this House has ever devoted monies to the COG. Money is devoted to individual counties, to individual governors, and that responsibility of accountability, Honorable Speaker, lies directly to that individual governor whose money has been devoted to his county. So I think I have to capture some recommendations that have been brought about by very many senators who have just given their recommendations. Honorable Speaker, we have a lot of responsibility which is being bestowed upon us by the Constitution. We need to, Honorable Speaker, our raw responsibility as a Senate is to make sure that we oversight counties and we are the protectors of devolution. Honorable Speaker, our duty as this House, we have a duty of the share of revenue. That is now when the governors think that we are very important in this exercise. We have a duty in Kara. That's where the governors need us most. It is important, Honorable Speaker, that we explore those responsibilities to make sure that we empower ourselves. There is no need of giving people money that are not even accountable to anybody. So when I stand here, Honorable Speaker, or any other senator for that matter, stands here on behalf of that particular county, and we don't devote monies to individuals. That money is devoted on behalf of the people who are supposed to get the services, who are supposed to get anything that they want, because that is their responsibility. That is their right to get those services from those the county CEOs. So when a governor is requested or required to appear before any particular committee, for that matter, to come and account for the money that he has been able to receive for that particular time, and then government decide not to come, then, Honorable Speaker, I think we are getting ourselves very irrelevant in this exercise. That is why, Honorable Speaker, we mean to explore some of the recommendations that we are supposed to make, because at the end of the day, if we don't make ourselves relevant in this matter, we are likely to be very irrelevant in the future. The governors are waiting to see who is going to blink before the other. And I'm very sure, Honorable Speaker, we are the ones who are holding the better part of the knife. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this motion, and I hope in the future, Honorable Speaker, this one motion should be a lesson that this house is not going to be relevant, to be relevant, and we must put our foot down to make sure that any person who receives public money must appear before the Public Accounts Committee, the Public Events Committee, or any other committee for that matter, because this is the creation of the Constitution. Senator Kajwang and any other member for that committee does not invite governors to account for the money that he has given to him from Mr. Shamba. It's money for the public. You know? So when somebody goes around and say, oh, there is some element of extortion, there is an element of other that, why do you have to get extorted? What have you done to get extorted? If somebody has demanded some money from you, why do you have to give money? Yeah. And I want to recommend the county assemblies, Honorable Speaker, even starting with my own county assembly of Tharaka County. They have demonstrated some serious levels of integrity. And I'm happy the chair has captured some of those county assemblies. And they have actually, most of those county assemblies defied their governors to come before the County Public Accounts Committee. So, Honorable Speaker, I support and I hope some of those recommendations that have been brought by Senator Aledama, Majority Chedinda, and any other senator for that matter must be captured, so that we must make sure that this house is not going to be taken just lightly, just like another street committee in the streets. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Senator Osotsi, but be brief.
Well, Mr. Speaker, allow me to raise 3 very fundamental points in regards to today's historic day. As you know, Mr. Speaker, today is the last date under Article 229 when we are supposed to have examined, considered, and taken appropriate action on the audit report. But, Mr. Speaker, there is one important observation that National Assembly is not adhering to the ruling of the court and also Article 229. Even as we are struggling here as the Senate, the National Assembly has completely ignored the High Court ruling, which this House went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal rejected our appeal. They have decided to go on as usual, and that means they are 3 years behind. And yet, Article 203 provides that the shareable revenue will be computed on the basis of the provision of Article 203.3 that says most recently audited account of revenue received and approved by the National Assembly. I think this is a very important point for this House to note, that immediately after today, as a Senate, we must make a decision on how the Article 203 is going to be complied with. And we can come up with a motion, Mr. Speaker, to say that the division of revenue effective from this year will be based on the most recent audited accounts, because the National Assembly has completely ignored the ruling of the court. And that means our counties will get more shareable revenue. So that is a very important take-home from today's exercise. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I have sat here for 4 years, Mr. Speaker, and every year we are coming up with reports, recommendations on the same things, and nothing seems to be happening in our counties. It has become like a ritual, Mr. Speaker. We make recommendation to EACC and nothing happens. I think, Mr. Speaker, we need to move to the next step, considering the behavior of our governors, to bring in EACC here so that they can explain to us why they are not taking any tangible and quick action on the recommendations that we have been giving. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I'm concerned that we will finish our term when we have done nothing in terms of ensuring that the culprits are punished and they are properly punished, Mr. Speaker. Now, coming to the reports, Mr. Speaker, I want to concur with the chair of PAC that the industrial park project, Mr. Speaker, if you are not careful, 23.5 billion public money is going to be wasted in this project, Mr. Speaker, because very little is happening in our counties. And yet we have appropriated 500 million for each county, Mr. Speaker, for this project. We need to take some drastic step, and I want to agree with the chair of PAC that this House should call for a special audit of this project so that public money is protected. Mr. Speaker, in the same vein, the issue of revenue management systems in the counties, those are loopholes for corruption, Mr. Speaker. Something has to be done so that we have a unified revenue management system. Mr. Speaker, I would have said many things, but we are running out of time. But just allow me to say the last thing, that the notorious governors who have failed to appear before committees, who have bad reports, are also governors who have somehow created friendship with the head of state. That they have discovered that the easiest way to protect themselves is to become friends of the president. I want to tell the president of Kenya, avoid those governors like plague. Because they refuse to come here, they have bad audit reports, by then they get it easy, they become friends of the president, they become party leaders of parties, so that they hide.
Thank you, Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, you know, the former deputy party leader of ODM is very passionate about it. So, and I want to say that I don't think, you know, the president is entitled to relate with anybody. These are Kenyans. So, Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this particular motion strongly because, Honorable Speaker, when devolution came into effect, what we thought, what Kenyans were desiring was development, because they thought some regions of the country were not getting development from the national government then, Honorable Speaker. But it is unfortunate that what we have done, instead, we have devolved corruption instead of devolving development, Honorable Speaker. Look at the part of the country. Sometimes every year they say there's drought, there is no water, people are dying, animals are dying, and the governors would have used the resources that have been devolved to do boreholes, do water pans, so that the people may have water. But instead of doing this, they decide to go and caucus themselves along something called, is it Council of Elders or Council of Governors, that is nowhere, it's not recognized in any law, Honorable Speaker. So these are people who we need to be serious. I agree that when the Division of Revenue and CARA comes here, we sit on it until they behave. I know when we sit on it, our people may also suffer. So we have to look at it clearly so that we don't also let our people suffer because of a few people. In fact, I'm surprised. I'm surprised to some of us. One of the governors who has refused to come to committees was brought here by the county assembly. And you and some of the senators, instead of impeaching that particular governor.
Senator
yes.
Kisang, do you want to be informed?
Yeah, I don't have a problem. I can be informed.
In your time. In your time, in your 5 minutes. Okay, continue. Proceed. There's no time. Proceed, conclude.
Yeah, you know, I might be informed in 4 minutes and then my time is over. So I'd rather say what I wanted to say. Because Honorable Speaker was saying, in fact, one of the governors who has refused to come to the committee was brought here by a county assembly. And some of us, I don't know, instead of impeaching that particular governor, we protected him. So we are also to blame in some way, Honorable Speaker. No, the issues were there. So, Honorable Speaker, I wanted to touch on what Senator had also said. You know, National Assembly is also doing a disservice to the counties because they should have moved with speed by the as a result of the ruling of the High Court, Honorable Speaker, so that they look at the reports 2023, 2024, 2022, 23, and then 2024, 2025, so that, Honorable Speaker, our counties can get more resources because we'll be using the latest audited accounts. Now, we are in 2022, 2023. Counties like Elgeyo Marakwet County, we are getting less than 6 billion because we are basing shareable revenue 3 years back. Some counties are feeding children in school using over 1 billion when Elgeyo Marakwet County doesn't even have that 1 billion for development. Some counties are even buying male condoms, while Elgeyo Marakwet County, we don't even have medicine for drugs. So we are creating an inequality, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is important that we put our foot down. Those governors who have not appeared, let us adopt the reports the way they are, as the committee has said, and then we send to ACC, we send to DCI, and basically ODPP, so that these particular governors are answerable. You cannot accept to be given resources, you spend, and you don't want to account for the resources because it's not possible. Honorable Speaker, there are many projects that have stopped.
Senator Matzayo.
Asante Mstahiki Speaker. Mstahiki Speaker, kwanza nataka kujivunia hii nyumba ya Senate kwa sababu tuko na ripoti ambayo ni ripoti ambayo tumeitegemea sana. Kitu cha kwanza nataka kusema ni kwamba ile kamati yetu ya CPAC imefanya kazi nzuri sana, na wameweza kuleta recommendations ya kwamba hatua itakayochukuliwa iwe itaweza kuwa kama somo kwa wale ambao wamevunja sheria. Bwana Spika, kitu muhimu ni kwamba mtu yoyote ambaye anataka kuwa gavana anajua ya kwamba kutakuwa na matumizi ya pesa, na mtu yoyote ambaye anajua kabisa ni mambo ya pesa ni lazima awe tayari kuweza kuulizwa maswali na kuweza kujibu jinsia ya matumishi ya zile pesa ambazo wanatumia. Bwana Spika, kujipiga kifua na kuanza kusema ya kwamba hatutakuja Senate, hiyo haitasaidia. Kitu ni kwamba lazima kuwe na maridhiano, lakini mahali ambapo hapana ridhiano, ndio sababu hii ripoti ambayo imeletwa na mwenyekiti ndugu yangu Kajwang pale, naweza kuiunga mkono kwa dhati ya kwamba imesema ya kwamba hawa ni lazima wachukuliwe hatua. Bwana Spika, tunajua kwamba hii ripoti hivi sasa ni lazima ipelekwe. Bwana Spika, hapo juu kuna kelele kidogo. Bwana Spika, hapo juu kidogo kuna kelele ambazo zinanifikia mimi hapa, na mimi nataka unisikize. Bwana Spika, nasema ya kwamba hii ripoti inatakana kupelekwa kwa jopo ambalo linachunguza ufisadi. Inatakana kupelekwa katika yule mkuu wa jinai DCI. Bwana Spika, ripoti kama hii ni ripoti ya kusikitisha, tukiona kwamba pesa ambazo ziko katika serikali za mashinani zinatumiwa kiholela. Na hii sio sababu ya kwamba wewe gavana alafu unaweza kutumia pesa vile unavyotaka, lakini natakana utumie pesa kulingana na sheria vile zinafuatwa, ili watu wako ambao unawatengezea miradi waweze kufaidika. Na Spika, sheria ni sheria, na tunasema ya kwamba mtu yoyote ambaye atakuwa amepelekwa na akipatikana na hatia ni lazima aadhibiwe. Bwana Spika, pesa hii si ya watu binafsi kuweza kuweka katika mifuko yao. Hii ni pesa ya umma. Hii ni pesa ya wananchi, sio pesa ya watu binafsi. Bwana Spika, tunaona ya kwamba hivi karibuni watu wamekuwa ni kama ambao wamegeuza hizi pesa zimekuwa zao za binafsi, kulingana na hii ripoti ambayo tumeipata kutoka kwa kamati yetu ya uchunguzi wa fedha zinazokwenda katika mashinani. Bwana Spika, ni jambo la kusikitisha ya kwamba sasa kila mtu anaangalia na anaona kwamba hizi pesa zinatumika vibaya. Kwa hiyo mimi nataka kuunga mkono hii ripoti ya kamati yetu kwamba vyote vile walivyoandika viweze kutekelezeka na hii ripoti iende mbele ili hatua ichukuliwe. Asante Bwana Spika.
Honorable Senators, I call upon the mover to reply. Give Senior Counsel Mogeni the mic. What is your point of order?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, you know, the main business why we are here as elected senators is to really do oversight on our counties. A few of us have spoken, but a number of us have also not spoken. If need be, we can extend the sitting of the House beyond 6:30, but allow us to speak to our people about what is in the audit reports from our respective counties. You cannot lock us out from commenting on these audit reports from our respective counties. Let's not do a business cast in stone. If need be, Majority Leader, we are willing to sit here up to 7. But you cannot lock us out. You have talked about Kericho. What about our counties? Even if it was passed, that's not right. You can...
Sifuna.
Speaker, you know there was a suggestion by the Majority Leader that those of us who speak on this motion should not speak on the next. But there is a difference in those two reports. The CPAC report tends to deal with a bit more than the CPIC. So maybe let us increase the time for this report and reduce the CPIC one, which is okay. Yeah, because it is the more interest, even for you, for Migori, you want to speak on the issues in the CPAC report as well. Yeah, so the chair of Honorable Majority Leader, the deputy party leader of ODM, the deputy party leader, he has accepted, okay, the chair of CPIC has accepted that we can reduce the time for his debate, because more of us will speak on this one, and then less of us will speak on the other one. I think that is fair, Senator Mogeni, and chair, through the chair.
Honorable Senators, we've taken 7 minutes to deliberate on this matter. The ruling that was made by the Speaker was that we debate on this motion for 1 hour with a time limitation of 5 minutes each. And unfortunate as it is, several members who have indicated on the dashboard that they want to contribute on this motion have not gotten the opportunity. I am sorry, but I have to stick to the ruling that was moved by the motion which was brought about by the leader of majority and seconded by the minority side. And senators voted on it, knowing very well what they were voting for. So as much as I would want to extend the time, I am bound to follow the procedure, and I am sorry, I will call upon the mover to reply. The best that I can do is to make sure that whoever has spoken on this motion will not be given priority to speak on the other motion until the other senators have contributed. And I believe even in that contribution, a senator can still refer to this motion and make submissions, or whatever submissions you wanted to make. So in that said, I call the mover to reply.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply, but also as a chair of the committee, perhaps we owe this House an apology. Our reports came on the last day. Last year, we brought our reports on the 27th of March. This last-minute reporting was as a result of the truancy of the governors. 29 of them had to be summoned yesterday. Mr. Speaker, I want to encourage that as a matter of procedure, we ensure that in future, these reports are brought at least 3 days to the constitutional deadline to allow every member to speak to it. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I also beg to defer the putting of the question to later in the day. Thank you. Or to a time appointed by the Speaker.
That motion is deferred for voting to a later time today. I want to call upon the chair for Public Investment Committee to table the papers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 31st March 2026. Volume 2, Report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit report of the following county entities for the year ended 30th June 2025. Mr. Speaker, you will allow me, Madam Speaker, you will allow me not to read the names of entities because it's going to take a while. So we have Kajiado County, Kiambu County, Homa Bay County, Migori County, Kisii County, Machakos County.
Senator Osoti, you can do so, but indicate as indicated in the supplementary order.
Okay, let me repeat. I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 31st March 2026. Volume 2, the report of the Select Committee on the County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit reports of the following county entities for the year ended 30th June 2025. The entities as indicated in this paper are Kajiado County, Kiambu County, Homa Bay County, Migori County, Kisii County, Machakos County, Baringo County, Isiolo County, Busia County, Kakamega County, Bungoma County, Kitui County, Siaya County, Laikipia County, Turukana County, Narok County, Uasin Gishu County, Nairobi County, Meru County, Trans Nzoia County, Nakuru County, Kilifi County, Kericho County, Kisumu County, Kwale County, West Pokot County, Nandi County, Bomet County, Kirinyaga County, Nyeri County, Taita Taveta County, Nyandarua County, Samburu County, Garissa County, Elgeyo Marakwet County. Volume 3, Report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds, containing the summary of key audit findings in the audit reports for water companies, municipalities, hospitals, and special funds for the year ended 2024-2025. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Please proceed to move the motion.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion: that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on the County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit report for the year ended 30th June 2025 of the following: Volume 2, laid on the table of the Senate on the 31st March 2026 for the following county entities. Again, Madam Speaker, the entities as are indicated in the motion: for Kajiado County, Kiambu County, Homa Bay County, Migori County, Kisii County, Machakos County, Baringo County, Isiolo County, Busia County, Kakamega County, Bungoma County, Kitui County, Siaya County, Laikipia County, Turukana County, Narok County, Uasin Gishu County, Nairobi County, Meru County, Trans Nzoia County, Nakuru County, Kilifi County, Kericho County, Kisumu County, Kwale County, West Pokot County, Nandi County, Bomet County, Kirinyaga County, Nyeri County, Taita Taveta County, Nyandarua County, Samburu County, Garissa County, Elgeyo Marakwet County. 2, Volume 3, Summary of Key Audit Findings in the Auditor General reports for the water companies, municipalities, hospitals, the special funds for the financial year 2024-2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2026. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 9, motion, report of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of audit reports of the various county entities for the year ended 30th June 2025.
Chairperson.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the reports of the Select Committee on the County Public Investments and Special Funds on...
Senator Osotsi, please approach the table.
Sorry, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the motion in an amended form pursuant to Standing Order 62, that the Senate adopts the report of the Select Committee on the County Public Investments and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit report for the financial year ended 30th June 2025 of the following: Volume 1, laid on the table of the Senate on 26 March for the following county entities. Again, Madam Speaker, the entities are many, so as indicated in the order paper. Volume 2, laid on the table of the Senate on 31st March 2026 for the following county entities as indicated in the order paper. And Volume 3, summary of key audit findings in the Auditor General reports for water companies, municipalities, hospitals, and special funds for the financial year 2024-2025, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2026. Madam Speaker, I will start by thanking the membership of my committee for the good work they have done. And I must thank the entire team composed of my Vice Chair, Eddie Okech, and the other members, Agnes Mutinda, William Kisang, Peris Tobiko, Senator Beth Siengo, Senator George Mbugwa, Senator Chimera, and Senator Hamida Kibwana. These senators have worked tirelessly. Madam Speaker, this afternoon, I am presenting to this House reports for over 500 entities in our counties. 500 entities for the financial year 2024-2025. And this report have been processed within a period of 2 months, Madam Speaker. So these members must be commended for the effort they have put in ensuring that these reports have been processed within the shortest time possible. I must also acknowledge that just like PAC, we had some difficulties with some governors appearing before us, but our situation was not as bad as PAC. But we have some counties that did not appear before us at all, but they managed to submit written submissions to this committee, which we have done reports for. We have some counties which did not submit anything and did not appear at all. Again, that information is contained in our reports, and those counties, just like PAC, we decided to adapt the audit report as it is. So, Madam Speaker, allow me now to go into the substance of the issues. Water companies. Water companies, nothing much has changed in water companies in our counties. The issues are still the same, just like the previous years, but of notable concern is the matter of long outstanding trade and other payables, which still continues to be one of the major issues in these companies. The matter of utilization of customer deposits, where these water companies have decided to utilize the funds which are supposed to be kept as contingency funds for customers. Most of the water companies have utilized these funds. We have the matter of non-revenue water, which continues to be a major issue, and of notable concern is one company that has a non-revenue water of 80%. This is a company in Kajiado County called Norturesh Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Madam Speaker, what this means is that 80% of the water that this company produces, it is not earned. It is revenue that is wasted. Madam Speaker, we also have serious concerns on the issue of these companies being in red. And an example of such a company is Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, whose negative working capital is 1 billion shillings, Madam Speaker. The other very important aspect is the matter of long outstanding receivables. These are customers who have not paid for their bills. Most of them are institutional. And on the lead in this category is Nairobi City Water and Sewerage Company, which is reported to be having a long outstanding receivable of 3,744,229,8 shillings in the financial year 2024-2025. But this figure was slightly higher the previous year at 3.77 million, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in Nairobi County, of concern is that the national government entities, including the Ministry of Defense, the National Police Service, the State Department of Correction Services, and the GSU, they collectively owe Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company Limited 442,116,064 shillings. Madam Speaker, still on water companies, we noted as a committee the following: the issue of excessive wage bill, and on the lead is again Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company, which has an excessive wage bill of 2.5 billion shillings, Madam Speaker, which is above the 35% threshold. The issue of misappropriation of customer deposits, again, on the lead is Nairobi Water and Sewerage Company, which has 1.3 billion shillings in customer deposits, which have been utilized contrary to the provisions of the law. The matter of unlimited statutory deductions continue to be a major issue in water companies. Allow me, Madam Speaker, because of time, to also look at the hospitals. And I want to say the biggest threat in our public hospitals, level 4 and above, is the following. There is a systemic violation of FIF Act. Madam Speaker, as you know, we passed the FIF Act in this House. Most of our public hospitals have not complied with the Facility Improvement Fund Act 2023. The majority of the county government transferred hospital-generated revenues to the county revenue fund, and thus denying the facilities the very resources meant to improve service delivery. This was observed mainly in the following counties: West Pokot, Murang'a, Makueni, and in Nairobi, among others. There was also the issue of critical staffing and equipment deficiencies. Across all the counties, hospitals failed to meet the Kenya Quality Model for Health standard. We noted severe absence of critical specialists such as radiologists, pediatricians, and other key technical staff. Lack of essential equipment, including ICU beds, HDU units, dialysis machine, was neither absent or functional in these hospitals. For instance, Mutuini Hospital, which is in Nairobi, had only 2 medical officers against a requirement of 16 and no ICU bed at all. Busia Referral Hospital did not have an ambulance, and the mortuary could not hold bodies. The bodies were beyond, the number of bodies were beyond the capacity of the mortuary. Then we have another important observation we made, unconfirmed SHA or NHIF receivables. Outstanding receivables from Social Health Authority and its predecessor, NHIF, totaling hundreds of millions of shillings, remained unconfirmed, with no structural recovery plans in place, severely constraining hospital cash flows. For example, Mbagathi Hospital in Nairobi reported 279.6 million shillings in outstanding NHIF claims. I'm quickly finishing, Madam Speaker. The issue of municipalities. The municipalities in this country, Madam Speaker, do not have autonomy. The municipalities, the counties have not complied to the provisions of Urban Area and Cities Act that requires that municipalities be autonomous. And budgets are not prepared, and basically most of the functions are controlled by the county government. In Machakos, municipalities were generated charters in 2018, but have remained underfunded and non-operational. In Narok, Kilgoris municipality did not receive any funding from the county executive during the year under review, and received a disclaimer of opinion for failing to submit a financial statement. Madam Speaker, now allow me to look at the matter of funds in the counties. Madam Speaker, can you protect me from the leader of majority?
Senator Majority Leader.
I am losing my flow. The special funds in our counties, Madam Speaker, is an avenue for corruption. It is in a state of despair in our counties. We have unsupported receivables for the funds. The bursary funds had a lot of problems in terms of lack of acknowledgement receipts from the institutions that benefited. We had issues of unrecoverability of loans, especially the loans that have been lent out from the so-called enterprise funds, youth fund, women fund. Most of those loans have not been paid to date in nearly all the counties. Severe underfunding. Most of the funds have now been used as sources of counties. Whenever they have problems with the disbursement of funds, they rush to county funds and they withdraw money from there irregularly without following the PFM. Non-compliance to the legal framework that exists on funds is another major problem. So, Madam Speaker, our recommendation is that the investment funds, enterprise funds, should all be abolished because they are sources of corruption, and recoverability of those loans is a major challenge. Madam Speaker, I would want members to contribute to these reports, and therefore at this point I would seize this opportunity so that we can allow honorable members to contribute to this very important report on our entities in counties. But generally, Madam Speaker,
who is seconding?
I want to recommend that the recommendations that are attached to this report, including action by EACC, should be taken seriously, and that would be the next course of action after the adoption today. I want now to call upon Senator Eddie Okech, Vice Chair, to second.
Madam Speaker, I want to right from the start second this motion. I see a lot of need for people to get time to be able to speak. And I'm seeing my friend, but this is an observation that I had. My friend from Tarakaniti, Senator Mofire, becoming a little bit cagey in the House because of the time issue. Madam Speaker, I wish he got the chance to speak when the previous motion was being spoken about, because I think that this motion and the other motion are quite synonymous, because we're looking at weighty issues that we have observed in PAC, as well as we observed in PIC. Madam Speaker, PIC is no difference. We have seen a number of times some governors don't want to appear in PIC, and Madam Speaker, we have also seen a number of times that when they appear, they don't want to exhaustively address some of the issues that the Senator for Vihiga has been able to illustrate here as as an issue, Madam Speaker. So because the report itself is exhaustive, Madam Speaker, let me take this chance as I endorse this report to say, Madam Speaker, that this issue of non-appearance before CPIC is a serious issue. And Madam Speaker, the reason why I was trying to get the attention of my friend, Senator Gataya, is because in the words of the COG chair, when the COG chair made a number of pronouncements in media representing this jamboree of a corporate body called COG, which is nowhere in the Constitution, he said, and I quote, that they deserve respect, that they deserve some respect, they want to be addressed by some serious respect as members of the COG, as governors, as excellencies. They want serious excellency addresses. But Madam Speaker, what I've observed in PIC in the course of this report is that it's not us that they want respect from. It is their own documents that do not have respect. For people who have been in PAC and PIC, some of the responses by these governors to these committees, Madam Speaker, don't deserve any respect. If you look at, for instance, Tarakaniti, where my friend Boshimio Gataya comes from, a report appeared before us and a report appeared before PAC that the governor himself was so embarrassed at the extent in which those reports were not addressing the issues that were brought, some of them one-liners, on serious financial variances that have been brought before the Senate by Auditor General, but they are one-liners. As simple liner as, the management agrees with the report said. So what if you agree that there are serious variances of about 8 million that has been lost? What are you telling the Senate? Your own document does not deserve the report, Madam Speaker, that you have put before the Senate, and you expect the senators to respect you. We had a case also in the same committee where the governor of Embu appeared before us and appeared before PAC. And there was a question, Madam Speaker, of why is it that you have taken 10 million and taken this 10 million to go and do with it some border engagement program. But Madam Speaker, imagine a governor responded to a committee of the Senate and said that the 10 million is money for the county. We took it for that program and we will return it anyway with other means. I mean, how embarrassing are those kind of responses, Madam Speaker? We had a case, in example, Madam Speaker, where in Nyamira, in the course of this document that you are seeing here that we have shared with you in PAC, this I wish that the Senator of Nyamira would take note, because we had a case, Madam Speaker, where the governor of Nyamira appeared before this committee on the reports that you are seeing there, and the water company, the prime water company of Nyamira, Madam Speaker, the entire budget for the whole year of 32 million. You go to the budget item, recurrent budget, as well as capital budget of the county. And in every single part of that budget, the governor and the executive have indicated that the money was spent on feasibility study. Madam Speaker, how do you say that you have spent the entire 32 million budget of that particular farm, entity of the county, on feasibility study, that you're waking up on Monday, you're doing feasibility study on how this company is going to run. You're waking up on Tuesday, you're doing feasibility study on how this company is going to run. You're waking up on Wednesday, all the way until January ends, February ends, all the way to December. Nyamira County, the cornerstone water providing company, WSP of Nyamira County, is doing feasibility study. In the course of doing that feasibility study, they are not paying workers in that company. How do you want to earn my respect? How will you earn the respect of the Senate? Madam Speaker, in this same report, if you look at them keenly, Migori County, where I come from, Madam Speaker, we look at the cornerstone water service provider in Migori County, brought before us. It is in your report there, if you get a chance to read it, Madam Speaker. For 2 years, the entire staffers of that particular entity have not been paid their salaries. Their statutory deduction have not been paid. There is no any remuneration that has been paid. There is no even domestic and subsistence travel paid to any staff member for 2 good years. Yet when they appear before us, Madam Speaker, you are told that in Migori County, those staffers of the main water service provider in Migori County, no staff is complaining. None. 25 million per year, not paid to any staff, but none of them is complaining. If you are to do deductive reasoning on that kind of report, it means that if those people are comfortable, there is a way that the governor is sustaining them. Most likely, the water is being sold in Migori County, and after being sold, there is no billing that is going on. That no matter the non-revenue water of that particular entity is skyrocketing to over 50% because money is being pocketed from the water company. And you see this, Madam Speaker, in a number of indices, in a number of companies, in a number of reports, even for the FIF, Madam Speaker. You are told a case in example, again in Migori County, you find that FIF is not being implemented to the extent that 42 million has been removed from the cornerstone hospital back to CRF, and you cannot be able to account for it in Migori County, Madam Speaker. These are responses that we have read in CPIC that makes me wonder, why then would governors demand respect, demand to be addressed with respect from the chair of PAC, Senator Kajwang, demand to be addressed by respect from the chair of PIC, Senator Osotsi. We don't create respect. You earn it by responding to the Auditor General's report, one, by your presence. Number two, by the depth of the responses they give to the Auditor General reports that the senators are reviewing. Very quickly, Madam Speaker, because of time, I want to give my colleagues also time to speak. I think I must add my voice, Madam Speaker, that on the basis of these 2 watchdog committees, the committee reports from PAC and the committee reports from PIC, where we find there is serious gross violation of the Constitution through audited queries, Madam Speaker, where we find that there is adverse mentions of these governors wasting money, I want to urge this House, and I hope Senator Cheriot will listen as the majority of this House, why can't we follow those kind of report with a substantive motion and indicate that those governors are unfit for office? And those motions, Madam Speaker, could actually have an overreaching effect. Because I know we are throwing our hands and saying, oh, let us recommend this thing to EACC, they will take their role. But we are a house of record, Madam Speaker. A motion established in this house declaring those governors unfit for office, therefore need to be removed, is a substantive motion, Madam Speaker. It is a motion that could lead, if not for MCS who are courageous to take upon themselves the responsibility of impeaching those governors, it could also help that in the next coming election, such document can be used by EACC to get those people out of office, Madam Speaker, so that they can be able to stop plumbering resources. They can be able to stop embezzling resources, Madam Speaker. I also want to recommend very quickly, under 1 minute, that because I have seen a number of these counties, Madam Speaker, and I'll table a part of the report here from myself, Madam Speaker, so that you can see a number of counties that have just refused to appear, even in CPIC. It's not only a problem in PIC. We have got a number of, yes, I do have a number of counties here that just refused to appear. Tana River County executive did not appear before PIC, before PIC, for some excuses. Some have just appeared once, and I can mention them very quickly, and then refused to appear on a number of reports that we have put here. But some appear, and should I name them? Do I have the time? Very quickly, Madam Speaker, there are a number of them here. I'll just table this because there are a number of them even that appeared, and Madam Speaker, they did not respond at all to some questions. A case in example is Samburu, appeared with both diverse and disclaimer of opinion on water companies in Samburu, yet he did not just respond at all to those questions. Madam Speaker, can you imagine a governor appearing before you and telling you that he came with the staffers of that particular company to Nairobi? Upon reaching Nairobi, they disappeared on him. Their phones are off. He's calling the MD of the water company, is off. He's calling the staffers, they are off. Madam Speaker, it's a big joke. We must be able to handle these governors with the same kind of rude attitude towards the people of Kenya that they are handling them, Madam Speaker. Lastly, Madam Speaker, the very last one. It is important to mention that in our committee in CPIC, we always have EACC sitting among ourselves. But I wanted to urge this House to make a resolution that we also need to have ODPP and we have to have DCI sitting there where EACC is not taking action on these people, Madam Speaker. It goes without saying that ODPP can take action so that we can have a multi-stakeholder approach to this vice of corruption that governors are taking. If ODPP won't take action, we then recommend to DCI. If DCI won't take action, we recommend to EACC. Where all of them have failed, let's come and do a substantive motion in this House that those people are unfit for office. Because my colleagues want to contribute and because there's no time, I want to say that I totally second this motion, and I hope that my colleagues will get a few time also to be able to chime in with this motion. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investment and Special Funds on the consideration of the audit reports for the year ended 30th June 2025 of the following. Volume 1 laid on the table of the Senate on 26th March 2026 for the following counties: Wajir County, Tana River County, Mombasa County, Embu County, Mandera County, Marsabit County, Murang'a County, Tharaka Nithi County, Nyamira County, Vihiga County, Lamu County, Makueni County, as per the order paper. Volume 2 laid on the table of the Senate on 31st March 2026 for the following county entities: Kajiado County, Kiambu County, Homa Bay County, Migori County, Kisii County, Machakos County, Baringo County, Isiolo County, Busia County, Kakamega County, Bungoma County, Kitui County, Siaya County, Laikipia County, Turkana County, Narok County, Uasin Gishu County, Nairobi County, Meru County, Trans Nzoia County, Nakuru County, Kilifi County, Kericho County, Kisumu County, Kwale County, West Pokot County, Nandi County, Bomet County, Kirinyaga County, Nyeri County, Taita Taveta County, Nyandarua County, Samburu County, Garissa County, Elgeyo Marakwet County as per the order paper. Volume 3, summary of key audit findings in the audit in the Auditor General reports for water companies, municipalities, hospitals, and special funds for the financial year 2024-2025 laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 31st March 2026. Honorable Senators, we now will give opportunity. Yes, ML.
They have finished the 1 hour themselves. And I don't know now what you're going to do, because we have only 12 minutes to debate and vote. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to request that perhaps maybe we can use 10 minutes. That can give two colleagues at least a chance to comment, one from each side. Then at 6:28, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, maybe I think Senator Mogeni has changed his mind. Initially, he wanted a chance to speak. But then you're saying, Madam Speaker, therefore I request that we limit time up to 6:25. Then the mover be called to reply so that we can commence voting.
Honorable Senators, I suggest that we give 3 senators to speak for 2 minutes each. Senator Dulo. Senator Dulo.
I do. I have a lot to talk about Isiolo. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay, Senator.
Madam Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Mogeni?
Yes, you know, Madam Speaker, the Speaker had initially ruled that each senator will be accorded 5 minutes. And that was through a motion that was moved by majority leader. I don't think it's procedural to reverse that ruling to 2 minutes. Otherwise, we should not
that was a
vote.
different motion. It wasn't this one.
But what do we say in 2 minutes on accountability issues?
You want to proceed to vote? Honorable Senator Dulo, can you do it in 2 minutes, or you want to give up your opportunity?
2 minutes, what can I talk about? Madam Speaker, it's really very unfair that we have a lot of challenges as far as oversight is concerned, and you are given 2 minutes to talk about all those problems. Does it really make sense? Anyway, I'll give up. But what I really want to say, Madam Speaker, we have a lot of challenges in the counties. And if I may speak to Isiolo County, there is nothing functioning as far as service delivery is concerned. Not health, not education, not roads, not water, not revenue, nothing is working. Can you imagine, Madam Speaker, there are youths who are sent to the ground, to the markets. Do you want employment? Employment letters are given to individuals without due process. Madam Speaker, which country are we living in? How do we actually handle this issue of accountability? We're just here making noise, but at the end of the day, this institution is toothless. Madam Speaker. No, there is no point of order. Madam Speaker, I am saying and I'm telling you the facts that are very open in black and white. Madam Speaker, if we are serious about oversight, after this report is tabled, can we summon EACC? Can we summon DPP? Can we summon DCI to hold them accountable in implementation of this report? I thank you.
Senator Thangwa. Do you want to give up your position? Yeah, I give up. Senator Ojenda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have been Vice Chair of the County Public Investment Committee, and there are various of the entities that administer funds in several counties that need to be regularized, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, secondly, is the high non-revenue water in many counties, including my county, Kisumu County, Madam Speaker. And it is high time, Madam Speaker, that counties work towards ensuring that, one, they create a modern system of water transmission to the residents, Madam Speaker. Number two, that they ensure that they reduce their non-revenue water to at least, Madam Speaker, levels of less than 50%, at least, Madam Speaker, to a maximum of 25%, so that we do not have water lost when the same useful resource, Madam Speaker, should be serving the deserving people of these counties. Madam Speaker, on the running of hospitals, I have noted, Madam Speaker, that most hospitals, Madam Speaker, have issues around the banking of funds or the charges that they receive in those hospitals, Madam Speaker, and some of them, Madam Speaker, there are recommendations about the CRF and the way these hospitals should run, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that all these findings that have been made by the County Public Investment Committee should be aligned to ensure that these entities, that the hospitals, that the funds, Madam Speaker, deliver to the people.
Senator Mogeni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. First, Mr. Speaker, what this House has made us go through, this governance.
It's Madam Speaker. Even
Madam
if it's
Speaker,
2 minutes,
what we have
fast.
gone through, Madam Speaker, should provoke us to amend the Powers and Privileges Act to copy what happens in other Commonwealth countries. Mr. Speaker, in Australia, under Section 7, subsection 1 of the Parliamentary Privileges Act, Parliament has been given powers to impose a penalty of imprisonment for a period of 6 months for anybody who defies Parliament. And that's what we should do, Mr. Speaker. Now, going back to the audit report, Madam Speaker, I'm certain that I've been given 2 minutes to bring to the fore the kind of theft and plundering of public resources that is happening in the county government of Nyamira. Madam Speaker, imagine a governor who collects 606 million shillings from hospitals, but only accounts for 549 million shillings, but disappears with a total 57,528 million money collected from patients in Nyamira, Madam Speaker. We're speaking about a governor, Mr. Speaker, who the audit report has revealed has made duplicate payments of 8,719 million shillings, irregularly and procedurally. Madam Speaker, we are talking about, Madam Speaker, a governor who has paid money to various hospital facilities in Nyamira, Madam Speaker, including Nyamwetreko, Nyandoche 2, Nyaigesa, and we cannot see any evidence of this money having been expended on the ground, Madam Speaker. You have heard what CPIC has told us, Madam Speaker, that 32 million shillings.
The time is up. Mover to reply.
Madam Speaker, because of time, I reply.
Honorable Senators, we are now going to division for order number 8 and 9. I'd like to ask the Sergeant at Arms to ring the division bell for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 or 2 minutes?